3, Auburn and Arkansas. After a marathon Friday at Plainsman Park, two teams split that doubleheader. We take a look at the SEC Western Division. Boy, it is a jumble at this point. LSU on top, Texas A&M, and both of these teams, Auburn and Arkansas, are a half game back. Welcome inside Sanford Stadium with former Auburn pitcher Mark Fuller. I'm Andy Burcham. Glad to have you with us today on the SEC Network. After almost 9 hours of baseball yesterday, do these two teams have anything left in the tank for Game 3?
Andy, it's mental toughness. You know, these are good teams and good players, but they're worn out. It's going to be the team that makes the fewest mistakes, walks the fewest guys, and just mentally tough for 9 innings.
Yesterday, Game 1, Auburn came from behind, trailed 3-0 at one point. Ryan Bliss, who drove in 5 runs on the day, tied the ball game with this base hit into right. Auburn then got 3 straight doubles in the 8th inning to take the lead for good. Auburn won the first game by a score of 6-3. Game 2, it looked like Auburn had won the game on this base hit to left by Matt Scheffler. Stephen Williams was ruled out eventually at the plate after the review. And Arkansas took advantage in the 15th. Heston Kjerstad hit his second home run in as many games. A moonshot to right, adding 2 more runs after that from the DH Goodhart. And Arkansas gets a split in the doubleheader yesterday. Look at the amount of pitches alone in Game 2.
Yeah, Andy, it was one of those days where a lot of good things happened. Auburn could have won it earlier. Arkansas could have won it earlier. Arkansas prevailed. And again, it was a short night, early morning up. The home team, you'd like to think, maybe got a better night's sleep, maybe a little more prepared, but Arkansas, mentally tough head coach, they'll be ready to go, so we'll see what happens here.
On the hill for Auburn today, after 2 shutout performances in relief last week, Richard Fitz gets his first SEC start today.
Well, and the starting pitchers have been a revolving door. You've had 2 big injuries with Davis Daniel and Jack Owen, and you've had some young pitchers and some junior college pitchers struggle. So Richard Fitz now is the next man up. He's had 8 scoreless innings. He threw 5 last Sunday at South Carolina, very instrumental in Auburn winning that series. So here he is now. Richard Fitz has earned the right to get his first Auburn career start.
Here is the offense that Fitz and Auburn will face today. Ezel at the top of the order. There is Heston Kjerstad. Hit home runs in both games yesterday. 1 to left, 1 to right. They were both no-doubters. He has 7 on the season. Opitz moves up in the order to the 8th spot. Christian Franklin will bat 9th. And Matt Goodhart right in the middle of that order. 5 for 9 on the weekend with a couple runs batted in.
Yeah, and so here's Richard Fitz, Andy, 89-91. He's had a great 7 months on this campus. He had a really good fall. He's been hit a little bit in his few innings, but he throws strikes. And that's been the issue for some of these freshman pitchers, really, is just throwing strikes. And I think if Fitz can get in that strike zone, he's got some sink. The Auburn defense had a pretty good day yesterday. They're playing good defense. He can get some outs quick.
So Richard Fitz in Game 3 of the series gets Trevor Ezel to lead it off, and Ezel swings at the first pitch and fouls it out.
92, so it's a good fastball. There's no short. Just because he's a Sunday starter or maybe a young guy, the stuff is legit. The stuff is legit Friday night stuff, just in a young arm that has not matured fully yet as a pitcher.
Ezel 3 for 10 with a home run. And that one misses low and outside. A new catcher for Auburn. We'll get to the defense in a bit, but Chase Hall behind the plate for Auburn in Game 3 after Matt Scheffler caught every inning of that doubleheader yesterday.
Scheffler was really, really good, Andy, for 24 innings. And I just don't see, I'm sure if you ask him, he would say, hey, I'm good, I can play. But I think it's very smart by Coach Thompson. Auburn wants Matt Scheffler ready to go all the way through June, so it's a big time to get him a day off.
There's ball 3.
Very, very, very tight strike zone in Game 2 yesterday. Today, looking like it's going to shape up the same. Chase Hall behind the plate, catching, hadn't caught a lot. But a good job on that pitch of sticking the strike.
Ezel the left. There is Judd Ward, just shy of the warning track in front of the monster for the first out. Here is the defense for Auburn. It is exactly the same with the exception of the guy behind the plate. Ward out and left, Howell and Williams with Woolley, Bliss, Julian, and the shortstop Holland. Hall behind the plate and Fitz on the hill for Auburn.
Good start by Richard Fitz. Here's the reason why it's good. He's throwing strikes. Just throwing strikes. That's the bottom line. Today's going to be one of those days. Arkansas definitely is thin on pitching. Auburn, we know they're thin. It was a lot of pitches thrown yesterday. Whoever throws strikes today, in my mind, Andy, because you're going to see some guys that didn't pitch much, that'll be the team that wins.
Game 3 of this series. A ball and a strike. Fitz around 92 with that fastball.
I have thought since the first day I saw Richard Fitz back in the fall, and this is going to be a big jump, but I really thought I was looking at potentially a future Casey Mize. Same kind of body, great arm.
Ball and 2 strikes to Kierstead.
Maybe a little more advanced at this point in his career. Casey Mize gave up 20 home runs as a freshman and really struggled. And Fitz has got the slider developed. The fastball's got life, and he's been in the strike zone pretty consistently. Same kind of body and physique.
Elevated a fastball, and Kierstead went after it and fouled it back. Kierstead hit a home run to left, a bomb over the monster in left. One of the deepest fly balls I've seen from a left-handed hitter over that monster. And then the game winner in the 15th inning on a hanging curveball for Arkansas. Bounced up there, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Fitz is from Helena. They are a powerhouse in the state of Alabama, a suburb of Birmingham, and had an injury, Andy, and missed most of his junior year. So he wasn't the normal commit as a sophomore. Carson Skipper was one of those, and then come to Auburn. He really was recruited and signed late with Auburn because of the arm injury. So a big pickup for Auburn.
Chopper foul by Kierstead against Fitz, 6'3", 185. Another in a big class of freshman pitchers that are, with the injuries to Jack Owen and Davis Daniel, getting a lot of action in this first season on campus.
Trial by fire, for sure, for these young guys. Good pitch.
Fouled again, and a nice job by Kierstead to stay alive.
Yep, got in with the fastball, and Kierstead just giving himself up and doing his best to foul it off and fight. You'll see the spot here. This is, unique for a freshman to be able to hit spots, and he did. It's a good pitch.
Kierstead hitting .305, 7 homers, 20 runs batted in. And again, just fouls it off.
And that was my thought. They were trying to get the fastball to the back foot. He just missed a little bit, and again, Kierstead battling. It's a good pitch by Richard Fitz. He needs to get it in just a little bit more. But that was the right call by Steve Smith, and a well-thrown pitch.
Two balls and 2 strikes to the Arkansas right fielder. Up and out of play off the left side.
We saw this yesterday. This Arkansas team put a bunch of pitches in Tanner Burns in game 1, just doing what Kierstead's doing right here, battling, hanging in there, looking for that pitch, and then trying to get one to drive. They hit a 2-strike home run with Ezel yesterday, so a really good job of their team all the way through 2-strike hitting.
On the 10th pitch of the at-bat, gets the strikeout. We'll take a look at the umpires working today's ball game. Darren Spagnardi is behind the plate. Donald Gilmore down at first. That's the third base umpire, Jason Millsap, and Scott Kennedy, the second base umpire. 2 outs in the inning. Here's Casey Martin. 2 for 11, a couple runs scored on the weekend. Up the third base line and foul.
And you talk about these 5 freshman pitchers for Auburn. We're seeing Richard Fitz. It's the mental capacity that's different. All 5 of these guys, Skipper, Brooks Fuller, Garrett Wade, Will Morrison, and now Fitz.
To the third baseman on a hop to Julian.
Finish that thought.
It's a 1-2-3 inning with Woolley on the stretch at first. We'll get to that a little bit later. 3 up, 3 down for Arkansas. Auburn to the plate in the first. Patrick Wicklander gets the start for Arkansas today. Freshman, 6'1", 180 out of San Jose, California. Valley Christian High School. Good numbers for this freshman.
Andy, we're talking between the break. We haven't seen him throw, but looking at the numbers, 42 strikeouts in 28 innings. Something's power. Either the breaking ball, the sink. They play a pretty solid non-conference schedule, so he hasn't thrown against bad people. He does have some walks, 17 walks, which is what you kind of expect from a young guy. So Auburn has got to be patient, but then again aggressive. And you're thinking, well, what the heck does that mean? Patient to not chase balls out of the zone, but very aggressive against the freshman who, when he falls behind, will give these Auburn hitters balls to drive.
Here's the Auburn offense facing Wicklander today. Ward, Howell, and Woolley, the top 3. Look at the weekend that Ryan Bliss has had. Auburn's second baseman, the freshman, is 3 for 8. and drove in 5 runs yesterday in the doubleheader.
And was all over the field. Played short in game 1, made some great plays at second in game 2. Had some huge at-bats, especially the at-bat in game 1, really the 2-out dagger to put Auburn ahead. So, yes, a great day for, I don't even consider Ryan Bliss a freshman anymore. He's so mature. He's playing like a guy that's been here for 3 years.
Judd Ward will lead it off for Auburn. He's 3 for 12 on the weekend. Howell and Woolley to follow in the Auburn first. Getaway day. And the first pitch is a strike from Wicklander.
2 freshmen. We had 2 freshman starters in game 2 yesterday. Unusual. And we got 2 freshman starters in game 3 today.
And both of these freshmen today making their first SEC starts. And quickly ahead of Judd Ward, no balls and 2 strikes. Ward with a couple home runs, 16 runs batted in, moved into the leadoff role after game 1 last weekend at South Carolina for Auburn. Outside, a ball and 2 strikes to Ward.
We won't get to enjoy Matt Scheffler today. He's getting a day off, or at least some innings off, but we will get to enjoy Opitz. And I don't think I've seen better catching from the 2 catches we saw yesterday. Opitz caught the whole game in game 1, came in game 2, and he threw out Auburn runners with his eyes closed, and he blocked along with Matt Scheffler. So really enjoy watching those 2 guys work yesterday.
Ward into left field for a base hit. Big turn by Judd. It's a leadoff single for the Tigers.
Andy, that guy right there, Judd Ward, is developing into what's going to be one heck of a baseball player whenever he leaves Auburn. There you see a fastball middle. He doesn't try to pull it. He does what Gabe Gross has taught him to do. Hit it where it's pitched. Use your hands. Get Auburn on base right off the bat. I think he's going to – he to me, is a Brett Gardner kind of player. Been with the Yankees forever and just a tough, hard-nosed kid who I think is going to have a bright future in baseball.
Here's Kason Howell, the center fielder. 2 for 9 in the doubleheader yesterday. Bunts it back to the pitcher. His play is to first. Ward gets to second base.
He was trying to push it and just missed.
Here's the defense for Arkansas today with Ezel, Kenley, Nesbitt, and Martin, Franklin, Fletcher, and Kierstead from left to right in the outfield, and Opitz behind the plate.
So that was not a sacrifice bunt. Kason just missed. When you're going to push bunt, see how deep the second baseman is. You have to push it past the pitcher. And man, he was just a little bit of speed off the bat, getting that by the pitcher for a base hit. But he does advance the runner, so he got the job done.
Now Woolley at the plate for the Tigers. In there for a strike.
Seen fastball, we've seen curveball, we've seen changeup from the freshman Wicklander. So a young guy that's making pitches here, all 3 of them in the first inning.
Woolley 1 for 11 with a couple strikeouts in the doubleheader yesterday and last night. And almost this morning. To the shortstop. His play will be to first in time to get the out.
Tell you, if you missed the broadcast yesterday, we highlighted Casey Martin at short, why he is the #1 prospect in the conference next year. So a year from June, he plays shortstop. I mean, there have been some great shortstops in this league over the years. Obviously, Todd Walker played for LSU. Just one after the other. Rich Hill from LSU, well, another one. He's one of those guys, and he is dynamic. He's quick. He's got arm strength. He plays the position like a major leaguer.
Here's Edouard Julien. 2 down in the inning. Ball 1 to Julien. Lefty on lefty here with Wicklander on the hill. Edouard went 2 for 9 in the doubleheader yesterday out of Quebec City. Scored a couple runs for Auburn. Runner at third, 2 outs. A ball and a strike.
A little maturity from Wicklander. 1-0. Stadium's thinking fastball. Hitter's thinking fastball. He throws a curveball and fools Eddie Julien. Good breaking ball as well.
Auburn with a runner at third, 2 down in the inning. 2 balls and a strike. Continuing to work away from Edouard. Challenged in with the fastball, 2-2.
I'll tell you, Andy, after watching this Arkansas team now for 3 days, they lost 6 starters off a team that was 1 foul pop-up away from a national championship. And I don't think they've lost a whole lot. They had some great leaders now. They had some guys on that team that were veterans, been around. Blaine Knight was a great pitcher, signed for a bunch of money. He'll be in the big leagues here soon. But they're solid. This is a team that's going to contend, I think, for the West as it goes through the season. They have deep pitching. They have good athletes. They can hit home runs.
Just a little low. The count goes full to Julian. It's in pretty good company as far as trying to get to 100 RBIs midway through his sophomore season. 93 games for Julian with 98 runs batted in. Hudson, Gross, Thomas, and Faulkner's pretty good group to be in.
Auburn would love for him to hit that number on this at bat.
He will get a free pass. Runners at the corners now for one of Auburn's hottest hitters of late.
Yeah, I think Connor Davis is poised to have what you call a breakout season. He really hasn't had one. He was okay with a really big hit, one hit as a freshman and a role player last year, but he has shown now the maturity as a junior. Big, strong guy. He really has got going down at UCF about a month ago, maybe a little longer. And Andy, he's been solid. I don't think it's a streak. I think this is where he's matured and evolved to. And I think he'll be a rock for Auburn the rest of the way.
A couple runs batted in the doubleheader yesterday. He's 5 for 9 in the series. Batting .281 with 2 outs in an inning. He has runners at the corners. Fouls off the first pitch.
92. It's amazing, the arms. The left-handed arms when I was playing, that was a long time ago, but in the 90s, if you saw an 87 left-handed, that was good. Now you're seeing guys that are dodging the draft or not choosing the draft, and this had to be a draftable kid here. Big body, good arm, and chose to come to Arkansas and play.
Chopper to the shortstop. Auburn strands 2 runners. That was a theme late last night. We go to the second. No score between Auburn and Arkansas. No score. We go to the top half of the second. Auburn and Arkansas split a doubleheader yesterday. Arkansas against the top 50 RPI. Split a series with Texas non-conference. Swept Missouri. And lost the series last weekend to Ole Miss. Have split the first 2 games with Auburn. You don't think that's important? Just listen to the pundits late in the year when they're talking about who's in and who's hosting and that
No
type
question.
of thing.
They force you to play a good non-conference. The conference itself speaks for itself, but you got to play good people before you get to the conference, and then during the week once the season starts.
Dominic Fletcher will lead it off for Arkansas. Pops it up into right. Stephen Williams looks up into a gray sky and makes the first catch.
Richard Fitz just living in the strike zone, taking his good stuff and making a living in the strike zone. Tell you, when we talked about him going through that Tommy John surgery, and when you go through that, it's really kind of devastating. You've been playing baseball since you were 7 years old. Now you miss 12 months, and according to Tim Hudson, you don't feel normal for 18 months. It's a huge hill to climb, and Richard Fitz did that.
There's Matt Goodhart, fouls off the first pitch. Goodhart has had a terrific series for Arkansas.
He really is.
After the home run by Kierstead in the 15th last night, he drove home 2 more runs with a double to left. He's 5 for 9 in the DH role for Arkansas this weekend. Fitz misses low, 1-1.
Andy, back to the conversation about the freshmen. We're seeing 2 today on the mound. We saw 2 yesterday on the mound. It's the mental capacity. Richard Fitz is a guy who can stand out there, and he can trust his stuff, and they're all at different phases.
Base hit to left by Goodhart, his 6th hit of the weekend.
I don't know who to pick. Goodhart, Fletcher, Kierstead. I mean, it's one after the other. Martin, this team has got some really good baseball players, and Goodhart is having a great weekend. So where are these freshmen mentally? Do they have the ability to stand on that mound and look at a team that they watched in the College World Series last year, if you're Auburn, or whoever you are? Look at you all of a sudden these teams you've been watching and dreaming about, now you're out there. Do you have the ability to stand out there mentally and realize you belong? Your stuff's good enough. And that's where these guys, they're all at different phases, and Richard Fitz is one of those guys mentally. He's figured it out early that I belong here. He's very confident. It makes it look easy. He just throws strikes and does his job. They'll all mature at different phases. The coaches hope they all mature to become guys they can count on. That's the thing, the unknown is how will each freshman player, pitcher mature for these head coaches.
Kenley behind, no balls and a strike. Goodhart does have 4 stolen bases at first. And Kenley drives one into the gap in left center field. Long run for Howell, but he makes the catch. He had to go a long way to get to that one. And Goodhart back to the bag.
Got a little breeze blowing in, which didn't help hurt at all. The breeze is coming from the east a little bit. Case and Howell again, that's a major high school wide receiver in Texas. And you saw him use his wide receiver skills to get that ball. All-state selection as a wide receiver in Texas. So great athlete. And Fletcher just as adequate for his team at Arkansas.
2 down for Nesbitt, the third baseman for the Razorbacks. Blocked by Chase Hall.
Really good job. Chase Hall has maybe caught 4 or 5% of the Auburn games, and there's a chance right there where Goodhart probably should have gotten the jump and tried to advance, but Chase Hall killed it. He smothered it, kept it right in front of him.
Two down and a runner at first for the Razorbacks. And they've got the runner picked off at first. Bliss will go back to Woolley, who makes the tag, and the inning comes to a close. Fitz with a pickoff, and the inning's over. No runs on a hit, no errors, no one left. To the bottom of the second, no score. Bottom half of the second. Auburn and Arkansas in the rubber game of the series. No score. The Tigers come to the plate. Great start for Butch Thompson's team at 20-2. The third longest winning streak in program history at 15 straight games, and an RPI right now of 5. Arkansas has moved up to number 7 in that RPI after the doubleheader yesterday. So two top 10 RPI teams going at each other right now.
Well, what all those numbers tell you right there, Andy, is that Auburn has set themselves up with a young team that's going to have to grind it out to make it to 15 wins and host because of those numbers, because they did a good job against good people in the early season. Arkansas did as well. They've beaten the people that they should beat. Those teams are having good seasons, which helps that number. Got to win 15 games in the conference. Arkansas was 18-12 last year in their College World Series near national championship run. That's an unbelievable season in this league to go 18-12.
Stephen Williams leads off the Auburn second against Patrick Wicklander, his 16th pitch. He worked out of a jam in the first inning. Fouled it back, a ball and a strike.
A couple of years ago, Vanderbilt, I think, won 21 or 22 games. And when you do that in this league, that's insane. And I don't think they won a national championship, so it doesn't guarantee that.
You're a national seed, though.
You are a national seed at home all the way through to the College World Series.
2 balls and a strike to Stephen Williams, 1 for 9 on the weekend with a run scored. It's a pretty big day for Auburn with this game, softball at Tennessee, gymnastics in the Sweet 16 in Baton Rouge, and oh, by the way, the Final Four in Minneapolis.
Not to mention
2-2 now.
What happened with our softball, Auburn softball yesterday?
Well, that's a Friday through Sunday series.
That's right.
So they're playing game 1. Excuse me, Saturday through Monday.
That's
no
right.
mistake.
Starts today.
They're tied at 2 in the second inning at Tennessee. 2-2. Up the left side, out of play. They're opening up the Auburn Arena for a watch party today. I think there'll be a big crowd there to watch Auburn and Virginia.
I have been told I will
Final
be there.
Four.
Not asked. I was told.
2-2. Got him swinging.
Pitch, came up and in with a fastball.
Sure did.
It's the one part of this Auburn offense that we didn't see much last year from Auburn. It's a great pitch by Wicklander. Took the fastball and just stuck it right up and under his hands. Great spot. Almost impossible for a hitter to get to. But it's the number of strikeouts that are keeping Gabe Gross awake at night. This is not an Auburn trait. They were really good last year with 2 strikes, with 2 outs, with the RBIs. So, you know, they have some guys who've been around a little bit. And as of yet, it can kind of become a kind of almost like a motto of your team, you strike out too much. So they have struck out more than they would like in the Auburn coaching staff.
Will Holland with a home run in game 2 yesterday. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Auburn shortstop. 1 for 5. Did not play in game 1 yesterday. Coach's decision. Foul tip, a ball and 2 strikes.
I like Wicklander. He's one of the old-fashioned pump guys, Andy. You see him, he'll take his little rocker step with his right leg, and then he pumps over his head. And I love that. I mean, does it add some deception to the hitter? Maybe, but it's a rhythm thing. You see right there the pump and go, and just a rhythm thing for him. He's probably done it since he was 9 years old. Maybe not. Maybe he learned it when he got here at Arkansas, but it's a rhythm thing. And, man, in the 80s, you would see it all the time. Here you'll see the step first, then here's the pump. Hands come down, and he goes. You saw it all the time in the old days, and then somewhere along the way, we became too conservative. Hey, you can't do that. Well, Greg Maddux did it, and some of the greats did it along the way, and it's just a rhythm thing that Wicklander uses to get himself going.
Full count now to Holland. And a walk. The second walk surrendered by Wicklander. And a 1-out walk for Holland. You may recall, if you were with us last night, Holland on late in the ball game, and we were all thinking he's got to go, and Opitz threw him out at second base, and it wasn't that close.
By 10 feet, and Will can really run. Opitz is a special catcher.
Just the second time that Holland has been thrown out this season. He has 13 stolen bases.
Opitz is only a sophomore, so they'll have him around at least for one more year.
Swing and a miss by Bliss.
And, you know, to play in the major leagues as a catcher, you don't have to be that offensive. If you can catch and throw and run a pitching staff like this guy's done the time we've seen him here for a game and an inning, 2 games and 2 innings, you can play a long time.
Snap throw to first by Wicklander, and Holland is back. Pretty good move there on that quick throw. Teams have only been successful 1 out of 3 times running on Wicklander this season. Could not catch up with the high heat.
Well, there you see why they've stolen 1 base on Wicklander. A really good job of holding. But if you watch his head, he gives nothing away. Watch him here. He kind of looks 45 degrees. Doesn't really look right at the base. Doesn't look right at home. He kind of looks 45 degrees and then picks it up and goes. That was close to a balk. It was close to a nonstop balk. But it's really good deception by Wicklander to come set and not give his eyes away. Not try to look home and go to first, try to trick somebody. He's right in the middle, and it's hard to read. You see Will Holland with about an 8-foot lead, so he's not comfortable.
There goes Holland. Bliss fouls it back. Bliss had a good day yesterday, 3 for 8 with 5 runs batted in for the Auburn freshman out of LaGrange, Georgia. This tied the ball game. And then this double in game 2 gave Auburn the lead. Arkansas came back to win it in 15. 1-2. Fouled it back.
It's impressive. I love it when I see a pitcher who can manage the running game and throw strikes. And Wicklander's doing that. I don't mean to harp on it too much, but this is a trained ability. It's not a gift. It's not something he was born with. He's worked hard at this, and he's really good. And right now, I know Will Holland got a good jump, but he's doing a really good job of holding the runner and then making good pitches. A lot of guys can hold runners, but they get distracted at home plate and make bad pitches. He's doing both.
Another throw to first, and Holland is back there with a 1-out walk. Ryan Bliss at the plate, a ball and 2 strikes.
And he will battle with 2 strikes. Ryan Bliss is as good as it gets when it comes to 2.
Flies it into center. Wicklander hung that one a bit, but Bliss didn't get enough of it. Taken in by Fletcher for the 2nd out.
You look at Chase Hall here, one of his few at-bats in the season. We talked about it today. Scheffler's played most of the games. Chase Hall has 15 at-bats on the season. Matt Scheffler is the #1 catcher at the moment, but there does come a time where Chase Hall, being the backup guy, the #2 guy, is called on in a very important role. This is not a, hey, we're playing a nobody on a Tuesday afternoon. This is a season chance to win a series, and he's been called on to catch and swing the bat. Have a good day.
3rd time that they've thrown over to Holland.
Maybe the best left-handed pickoff move, Andy, that I've ever seen was Andy Pettit. I mean, he got guys that were 2 feet off the bag. And you're seeing here from Wicklander, I don't know if he has watched some Andy Pettit, but it's a very similar set. Andy Pettit would come set with his feet close together, very tall. But he has studied and worked somewhere to learn this trade. He's doing a good job of it.
Outside ball 1 to Hall. Just the 9th game that Hall has played for Auburn. His 5th start. In the dirt, blocked by Opitz, and Holland stays put.
It was a good read by Will Holland for 2 reasons. Number one, Opitz did a great job of burying the ball. You do like to see guys get jumps on dirt balls, but number 2, you don't want to get thrown out with a number 9 hitter out. I mean, no offense to Chase Hall, but you'd rather have him lead the next inning off or get through this thing than have him lead off the next thing if you're Auburn.
Strike call to Hall. I'll tell you what, it is not much of a pause in the set by Wicklander, but enough.
Yep. He's close, but as long as there is a moment, and they're on it, you see the second base umpire there, he's right in on his hands.
2-2. And he has hovered around 92, and he has located 92.
And he's as good as I've seen maybe this year, including upperclassmen, at what he's doing, managing the running game and making quality pitches. It really is.
Runner goes. Hall swings and misses, and the inning's over. No runs, no hits, no errors, a man left. We're through 2. No score between Auburn and Arkansas.
That makes sense. So if I bought it for a business I started, I'm able to deduct it?
Yes, that's definitely a deductible expense.
That was really helpful. Man, I love technology, but it is infinitely better with people. Sometimes you just need that real human touch, you know? A little bit of empathy and understanding. Like I was saying, humans and technology working together.
You talk too much.
TurboTax Live, now with CPAs on demand.
You realize your vows are a Whitesnake song?
I do.
If you ride, you get it. Geico Motorcycle.
Auburn and Arkansas knotted at 0-0 going into third inning. We're talking about young pitchers, and for Auburn, it's Richard Fitz. So far, living in the strike zone. Good slider there. He's shown a 92-mile-an-hour fastball with some life and acting very mature. Now is in his 10th scoreless inning in SEC play. 5 last weekend, 3 the weekend before, and now 2. Richard Fitz, one of those guys climbing that freshman hill and doing it very well.
Fitz also had a good stint in the Auburn loss to Alabama at the Max Capital City Classic in Montgomery in the middle part of that ball game. He will get the bottom third of the order. Thrown 25 pitches as he goes to work in the third. Nesbitt, Opitz, and Franklin. Fouled up the right side.
Strikes. You know, we were talking before the game about, was this going to be a 4.5-hour game because of the pitchers that are out of gas for both teams? If these guys throw strikes, it will be a short game. It'll be good defense. If you don't throw strikes and fall behind, then no. So far, both freshman pitchers, Wicklander and Fitz, doing a good job of doing their job.
Upstairs with the fastball, 1-1 the count. Nesbitt 1 for 8 with a run batted in. On the outside corner for strike 2.
Really good breaking ball, and he came with that. Not taking anything away from Butch Thompson or Steve Smith, but I think Richard Fitz showed up with what he's got, and they've just given him work.
1-2. Almost hit him. Up and in, 2-2.
It's a good pitch, though. It's just one of those pitches that reminds the hitter, don't get on my plate. He might not have meant to do that. He may have been trying to go away, but it is a reminder to a hitter, hey, that's my plate. Don't get too close to it.
To the left side, Julian. Throws to first, 1 down. Ball was hit well by Nesbitt, but at the Auburn third baseman for the first out of the inning. And here's Casey Opitz.
Got the slider away from him and got him out on his front foot a little bit. So ground ball to the left side. If you throw it, they will catch it. That's what happens when you have SEC defenses. We've seen Casey Martin, how good he is, and the whole Arkansas team. Auburn as well. They can catch and throw. 3 errors yesterday, maybe total, maybe 5 total combined between both teams.
Up the middle and through for a base hit for Opitz, his 3rd hit of the weekend.
He is an offensive catcher. We've seen what he can do behind the plate, but he's done a really good job swinging the bat. It's a 2-seam fastball away, and he stayed with it, put it right back through the middle. The defense sets you apart when you're a catcher, but when you can swing the bat as well, you're a commodity for any team at any level.
Number 9 hitter in Franklin at the plate. Opitz is a threat to run. He has 5 stolen bases. Outside for ball 1.
And think about the athleticism now of this Arkansas team. You just mentioned the stolen bases by a catcher. You have a first baseman leading off, an Ezel with power who can run. So they're not your prototypical, hey, slow at the corner, slow behind the plate kind of team. They're very athletic all the way around.
Into right for a hit. Opitz is on his way to 3rd. Runners at the corners for Arkansas here in the 3rd. Good piece of hitting by Christian Franklin.
He did it yesterday. He had a big hit in game 2 the same exact way. Brooks Fuller fell behind 3-2, and he shot one that way. Exact same swing today on the fastball away by Richard Fitz.
Arkansas has broken on top in the first 2 games of the series and are poised to do so here in game 3. Back to the top of the order, and Ezel at the plate with runners at the corners and 1 out. Chase Hall back behind the plate after relaying the defensive signals to his infield. And Auburn plays for 2. It has not turned a double play this weekend.
We talked about that yesterday. 24 innings of baseball, no double plays turned for Auburn. Did we have any for Arkansas, Andy? Do you remember any? Did we have 1 maybe?
Maybe 1.
Unassisted?
Yeah.
By Martin? How about that? 24 innings of baseball, and I think we had 1. I can't remember. I can't remember 5 minutes ago, much less 12 hours ago.
And a double play in the first inning of game 2 yesterday for Arkansas.
Yeah.
1-0 to Ezel. Foul pass first. Ezel 0 for 1 in the game. He lined it to left to Ward.
Not a lot of depth in either bullpen because of the long game last night in the inning, so neither team can afford a pitcher to blow up. They have to have these starting pitchers. Give them at least 5 innings. 5 innings helps a lot. More than that is a bonus.
Foul tip. A ball and 2 strikes.
Not only is Ezel a first baseman hitting leadoff, he's built like a linebacker and he switch hits. I mean, it's just so rare to see this from usually your first baseman as your slow-footed guy that can just mash and hit home runs. Well, he can do that, but he can also move a little bit. Good athlete.
9 for 10 stolen bases. Leads the team in stolen bases.
Amazing. That's amazing. I don't think I've ever seen that. A leadoff first baseman who plays really good defense, moves well.
That is unconventional, to be sure.
Sure is. Yep. The less dead-footed guys on your team, the better. The more athletes. Auburn is very athletic up and down the lineup. Arkansas is as well.
1-2. Ezel stays alive.
One senior on the field today. Usually in this league, you're going to be successful and make it to the College World Series with juniors. You want to have good sophomores who've been around and juniors who are set. On this field today, Ezel is the only senior that's on the field out of 18 players.
1-2 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you might ask why. Well, here's why. Your juniors get drafted. In this league, the juniors are the mature, better guys. A lot of them were drafted out of high school. And so by the time they've gotten to be a junior, they've turned into a top-notch prospect and get drafted and leave. You have seniors because they got injured. And there are some guys who are just not prospects or don't want to sign in a low round as a junior, so they stay. But for the most part, it's a junior-dominated league for the teams that are successful. Arkansas last year, junior-dominated. They all got drafted and left.
Upstairs for ball 3. And you're starting to play with fire now with Arkansas.
Yep, you are. You cannot fall behind and give these guys extra bases, extra pitches to see. Fitz looking for that good two-seam sinker down, trying to get a ground ball somewhere in the middle.
Runner goes, and Diesel walks. And now the bases are loaded for Heston Kierstead.
And you know what? He hasn't had a great weekend offensively, but he had a big hit at the most important time for his team yesterday, which that's the way the game is. You can have an off day, but get a chance late in a game, especially a long game like that.
He was 0 for 7 when he came to the plate in the 15th and hit the home run that won it for Arkansas.
You know what? He probably wasn't happy with the 0 for 7, but the home run is what did it. And so it erased the day and made it a good day for the Razorbacks and for him.
Bases loaded, 1 out, and Kierstead at the plate.
He can really cause some damage here with one of those big hits.
And all of a sudden, Fitz is missing up.
Bases loaded, 1 out. It's a ground ball hit back to Fitz. He's got to stay composed and give a good throw back to Chase Hall catching. It's a 1 to 2 to 3 double play. Everybody else is turning 2 in the middle.
Out of play off the left side. Kierstead hit home runs to left and right.
It's the power to the
yesterday.
left that's so impressive.
His first home run over the monster left off Tanner Burns.
Down and in.
And the big blow, though, was late last night in the 15th inning. It was the game winner for Arkansas. A ball and a strike.
Got him a hanging curveball after about 4 foul balls and hit it out.
To the right side and through. Arkansas breaks on top, and Franklin will try to score. The throw home is cut off. They throw to second base, and Kierstead is out for the second out of the inning. But Arkansas, as it has done in the first 2 games of the weekend, breaks on top on the single to right by Kierstead.
It's a great at-bat. It's a great at-bat and a big swing by Kierstead to get the runs home, but then a base running mistake. You've got a freshman on the ropes a little bit. We'll see here. Here comes your fastball away. He kind of left it up. But a good job. He's so strong. He just drives it through the hole. But a good job by Woolley there to get the out. Auburn needs outs. You kind of have the freshman pitcher on the ropes. You make a base running mistake to give them the second out of the inning. But don't take away from the hit. It gives Arkansas a 2-0 lead and the momentum here in a what we'll call a mental toughness ball game after yesterday.
2 more runs batted in for Kierstead. That gives him 22 on the season. And 5 on the weekend. Ezel went to third on the play. He's there now with 2 outs. Fouled back, tried to hold up the swing, a ball and a strike. Back-to-back singles by Opitz and Franklin. He got ahead of Ezel but lost him to the walk, and then Kierstead singled through the right side to score a couple for Arkansas.
Tell you, it's hard not to like Casey Martin. Just looks like a ball player, and he plays like a ball player. Haven't seen a lot of the other shortstops. We've seen Tennessee, we've seen South Carolina. South Carolina's shortstop had a great weekend last weekend, but this guy is the cream of the crop.
Ball and 2 strikes.
I love to match the players we see to major league players. For instance, talking about Brett Gardner a little while ago with Judd Ward. Just trying to figure out, Casey Martin reminds me of somebody. I can't quite put a finger on it. He just plays similar to a major leaguer. I'll get it maybe later tonight.
Okay.
I'll call you. I'll send you a text.
That's indeed. 1-2. Stays alive as he puts one out of play.
Craig Biggio.
All right.
Kind of a slight build, not a big guy, but yet just solid. Has the look a little bit, similar build. That's who it is. I thought about it all day yesterday. Only took me 30 hours to figure it out.
Congratulations.
Craig Biggio. Houston Astros, Hall of Famer. There you go, Casey. No pressure.
Open stance from Martin. The 1-2 from Fitz. Popped him up. Pass will get out of play.
Fitz is leaving some balls up. The walk hurt him. Left the ball up to Kierstead, and right there got away with a mistake on a slider to Casey Martin. He just missed it. Trying to get him back down the strike zone.
A ball and 2 strikes to Martin. Missed upstairs. And when he has missed in this inning, primarily, that's been the spot.
Yeah, and he's missed badly on some pitches this inning. First inning of the 3 that he's done that. So, again, this is some adversity here. Arkansas has done a really good job. Now they have the lead. And for the first time, Richard Fitz is feeling a little bit of adversity. He's got to battle through it.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Martin sends it out of play.
Andy, here's the advice. I mean, it's true in life, but here's the advice to these freshmen in this league. Keep plowing. You're going to have some days where you go, have I ever played this game? What am I doing? You just got to keep plowing. You got to keep working because it is a totally different world. These guys dominated in high school, and there is no dominating in this league for anybody. Obviously, there's some great players, but you just got to keep plowing.
Down the left field line into the stands.
Great at bat by Casey Martin. He's done it for 2 days. Battle, get 2 strikes, foul it off. Coach Van Horn's going to be very proud of his team. He's hoping they win the series. But he's going to be very proud of the at-bats that they've had for all 3 games.
33 strikes, 17 out of the strike zone, and Steve Smith comes out. There's nobody warming up in the Auburn pen. So this is maybe talking something technical. He brings the entire infield in.
It's interesting because really it's 2 guys battling. It wasn't like Fitz was struggling. He was making some good pitches. But if I've learned anything watching Steve Smith for 2 years, he goes by his gut. I mean, you're looking at 30-plus years of doing this. And he told me last year, I asked him what his advice was. He said I was fathering. He was out there fathering, not coaching. I was fathering. So an older guy that's been around, he goes with his gut. He sees something, he wants to communicate, he calls timeout.
The all-time winningest coach in Baylor history, 5-time Big 12 Coach of the Year for the Bears. His second season as Auburn's pitching coach. He is a volunteer assistant.
He had been out of coaching for a year. Coach Thompson lost Greg Dry, who moved up to an administrative job, who was his pitching coach. And I guess Coach Thompson and Steve Smith had a conversation about coming to work, and he said yes. And what a gift for Auburn and Coach Thompson to have a guy like that running the pitching staff. 2-2
to Martin. Got him. Took something off of it, and the inning comes to a close. Whatever it said, it worked. 2 runs, though, on 3 hits for Arkansas in the top half of the 3rd. Kierstead with the big blow, the 2-run single. Two 2-0 Arkansas, as they have done in all 3 games of this weekend. The Razorbacks have broken out on top. Led 3-0 in both games of the doubleheader yesterday, and have jumped out to a 2-0 lead today. Top of the order for Auburn's second look at Patrick Wicklander. Auburn's had men on base in the first 2 innings, just haven't done anything with it.
Reading his bio from high school, Andy, very highly thought of out of California.
Judd Ward fouls it back.
Ranked 30th pitcher in the country. Great numbers, lots of strikeouts in high school. And Arkansas went all the way out to California. They had Cronin, the closers from Florida, and here's Wicklander from California. So much like Auburn, the recruiting coordinator becomes a national scouting director, finding guys every corner of the country.
Ward on a hop, but right to Ezel for the first out.
Ezel's just good, solid, strong, great defensively.
1 down. Here's Case and Howell. A sacrifice bunt in the first.
A lot of football coaches use the term, we don't rebuild, we reload. Well, Arkansas reloaded. Losing those great players from last year's team, they've reloaded, and if they can stay healthy and keep their arms, which their starting arms have been pretty darn good, keep them healthy, the bullpen is very good, they're going to make a deep run this year, Andy. My prediction would be they would be in the mix come super regional time.
No balls and 2 strikes now to Howell.
I don't see a weak link. Athletic, can hit, have arms, can catch. I don't see a weak link to expose.
A ball and 2 strikes. Howell, a sacrifice bunt. On ground ball action. Howell down on strikes. This is an SEC that is, you see, all up and down the RPI top 35. Auburn and Arkansas 5 and 7. LSU right behind. Texas A&M in the top 10. Foul by Woolley. 0-1. Woolley, a ground out to short back in the first.
This is a guy that Auburn needs to get going. He really had been almost carrying this offense for the first 6 weeks. He's had a tough weekend. They could use him, get it back and going.
Foul ball for strike 2.
Arkansas's offense, Andy, for the most part, they're clicking. You got Goodhart swing the bat well. You got Martin swing the bat well. Ezel. Auburn right now, they're not clicking. You've got a couple guys here and there, but up in the lineup, not clicking like they were. And consistently, all 9 of them swinging the bat well together. Arkansas is. They're pretty tough 1 through 9.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 down and nobody on for Auburn in the third. To the right side again. There's Ezel. And there's 3 outs for Auburn. 3 up and 3 down for the Tigers. And we're through 3 with Arkansas leading 2-0. We'll have some more spring football for you on Friday. It's the Kentucky Blue-White game from Kroger Field in Lexington. Under the lights again this year as head coach Mark Stoops and the Cats cap off the spring. 6 Eastern, 5 Central, right here on the SEC Network and live on the ESPN app.
The whistles going this morning from Jordan-Hare Stadium when I came in. I guess Auburn was having a scrimmage, sounded like. Or Coach Malzahn was blowing his whistle. One of the two. Something was going on over there.
Maybe both.
Way too early, top 25.
It's April.
That it is.
Dominic Fletcher will lead it off. Takes the first pitch outside.
So pick out an offensive player, Andy, in the Arkansas lineup that you can throw as an out, that you can point at and say, hey, we can get him out. I mean, I don't know that I'm thinking right now as I'm running through my mind.
To the right side, Fitz will have to cover and does 4-1 on the putout.
Good play by Bliss right there. Ryan Bliss became a quarterback, so he's got a moving pitcher. And taking into account the pitchers aren't your best athletes, but Fitz did a really good job of running his route, much like a receiver. And then Ryan Bliss is going to take a little time and just lead him, much like a quarterback. Put it right on the money. Good play. But I don't know where you can look and, okay, here's a guy we can walk a guy and get this guy out. Here's Goodhart hitting 6th. And made swing the bat well all weekend.
To the right side, got jammed. And again, Fitz getting in his running in this inning, covering first.
Pitcher's fielding practice. You work on it about 3 times a week. It's boring as it can be, but it comes into play just about 3 or 4 times a game when a pitcher has to respond to a bunt or a slow roller or right there, a ground ball to the right side. PFP, they call it.
Ball 1 low to Jack Kenley.
Really have seen 2 pitches from Richard Fitz. We've seen a good sinking fastball and a slider. And other than a couple little jam in the 3rd inning, if he gets to this one unscathed, he's had 4 good innings of baseball.
Kenley tried to hold up, but could not. A ball and a strike.
Auburn desperately needs to get one of their 2 starting upperclassmen, either Jack Owen or Davis Daniel. We don't have a lot of word on where they are, but they desperately need one of those 2 guys to come back. In the meantime, it's nice to have a guy like Richard Fitz step up and take in the slack.
1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Two down, nobody on for Arkansas. That ball is hit to right. Stephen Williams is on, makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning for the Razorbacks in the top of the 4th. We'll talk it over with Arkansas head coach Dave Van Horn when we come back on the SEC Network. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Arkansas 2, Auburn nothing. We go to the Arkansas dugout. Welcome in Razorbacks head coach Dave Van Horn. Coach, you get some offense from the bottom of that order with Opitz and Franklin, and then Kierstead comes through for you through the right side, Coach.
Coach, a long grind yesterday for your team. What did you tell them last night to get them ready to show up today and try and win this series?
Coach, thanks for the visit. Wish you all the best rest of this season. Dave Van Horn, the head coach for Arkansas. His Razorbacks lead 2-0 as Auburn comes to the plate in the bottom half of the fourth. And the first pitch to Edouard Julian misses low from Patrick Wicklander.
Second time through the lineup. Wicklander doing a good job right there of throwing a first pitch breaking ball, trying to mix things up a little bit.
Down the middle for a strike at 90.
He's throwing his fastball at 90 to 92. 4 strikes, 2 spots at will. That's been the difference so far. And he's mixed the breaking ball well. So very mature outing so far for Patrick Wicklander.
Julian up the left side, but that'll get out of play. 1-2 the count. He has walked 2. Has only given up 1 base hit. That was the leadoff single to Ward. A guy that came in with an ERA in the SEC of 99. Well, he hasn't pitched like it today.
He's located right there. 2 strikes. Good job by Julian to get a piece. But, boy, just locating to both sides of the play. He hasn't come up. That's probably not a strength for him. But he's been very good in and out. Showed it there. And you got to give Julian some credit for surviving on a really, really tough pitch.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Edouard.
Pitch counts at 52. You'd like to keep the pitch count below 15 an inning. 12, 13 is kind of the ideal number. Right now he's close. He has a chance to get through this and be around 60 if he can make some more pitches and get some outs.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Didn't miss by much, just missed down.
Pitch count is a huge factor today. There were 4 pitchers used twice yesterday. 3 for Auburn, 2 for Arkansas, 1 for Arkansas, 5. So
Julian
the
up the
bullpens are
middle,
tired.
and that's going to be a base hit. I don't know if the shortstop Martin gets to that ball if Wicklander doesn't get a piece of it.
Well, Wicklander got close, but you're right. It was probably going to find its way through the hole, but Wicklander is so tall, he just about made the play. A great at-bat there by Eddie Julian with 2 strikes. I mean, he really was there.
Yeah, off the glove.
That ball was pretty hot coming off the ground, and it got to him in a hurry.
Well, a leadoff single for Auburn, just the second hit for the Tigers in this game.
And Andy, really this is going to sound bad, but one of the few really quality at-bats for Auburn, really in the last 2 games. Foul ball, battle, scratch, and then get a base hit. Good baseball there by Eddie Julian.
Here's Connor Davis, 5 for 10 on the weekend.
It's a good matchup for Auburn. Connor Davis sees left-handed pitchers pretty well.
Ball 1 outside.
One thing Arkansas does have in its favor, if the game is still tight late, is their really all-world closer, Cronin, through 34, maybe 5 pitches. I think he's available for an inning. Auburn's 2 closers, Anderson and Greenhill, I don't think they're available at all. Threw in both games yesterday.
Swing and a miss. He threw it past him.
He went for it. Connor Davis had a 1-0 count, got a fastball, did exactly what he was supposed to do. And Wicklander with some life on that fastball away, just threw right by him.
A ball and a strike. A leadoff infield single by Julian. He's at first. 2-0. Razorbacks on top. Two balls and a strike now.
Where's the Red Bull? We have some right here somewhere. I'm yawning. Like I was in bed before everybody. Most of these folks sat around, had to finish up stats and get prepared. I know our sports information, George Nunley, was 1 o'clock. Andy, I know you were doing finish up your work. It was a long day for everybody.
Sure
and then
was.
If you're a player or a coach, you lay in the bed wired for an hour.
Strike called, 2-2 the count. Our network crew, our SEC network crew has been here since early this morning. They were here with us all day yesterday.
For a coach, you go home and you just can't unwind. You should be physically exhausted, but you just lay there thinking about what could have been in game 2 or 1 if you're Auburn or Arkansas, and what should have been, could have been. You do that for hours, run it through your head.
Davis swings and misses. Well, and this is the pattern for Auburn of late. Get a runner on base and just not do anything with it.
Watch
Good
this
pitch.
thing explode. And when it's a 4-seam fastball, if you want to throw the term spin rate out there, that's pretty impressive spin rate there by Patrick Wicklander.
Connor Davis down on strikes, and here's Stephen Williams.
What is spin rate? It's the rate at which the ball comes out of the hand, the tight, quick spin. And the faster you can make it spin, the more devastating it is for the hitter. Hitters don't see it well when it spins. It becomes kind of a blur.
Outside to Stephen Williams, a strikeout victim in the second.
And really, spin rate, Andy, is just arm strength. That's what it is. I mean, we act like there's a new term. We have launch angle and spin rate. Those terms have been around for 150 years. They've just been glamorized here lately because of the professionalism and what's going on in professional baseball, Major League Baseball. But spin rate, Patrick Wicklander is spinning it pretty good out of his hand. They have computers now around the stadium. You'll see cameras set up in various places. All these programs have them. And they will give you more information, more details. If you're a baseball detail fan, you would love it because you can sit down behind a computer and just get everything you want on spin rate, arm angle, sink. It's just crazy what they do, how good it is, how in-depth it is.
Popped him up. Fletcher underneath it, 2 outs in the inning.
Taking nothing away from Patrick Wicklander, but it's the non-competitive at-bats by Auburn. It's the ease at which the pitchers have kind of gone through this lineup at times. Wicklander is in his 4th inning now, and he's throwing great. So not taken away from him, but the at-bats are just non-competitive is the word. You just got to dig in there and grind a little more.
And here is Will Holland, walked back in the second. Julian reached on an infield single and has not moved from first. Out in front.
I'm just waiting for one of the umpires to call a nonstop balk. That was really quick there. He's living on that line right there. You see what's happened. We talked about it. Arkansas very competitive in this game with their at-bats. Batting .500, Auburn yet to get a hit.
1 ball and 1 strike to Holland. 0 for 6 with runners on base. Auburn at the plate.
The one positive if you're Auburn, if you're the offense, is the pitch count. Wicklander is over close to 65 now. He is at 65, so that's the one positive, trying to get into the bullpen maybe and see what they got.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Holland. Out of play off the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Will. 1 for 5 on the weekend. That one, a 2-run homer that tied up game 2 yesterday.
Arkansas had taken the lead, and Will Holland came right back and tied it up with a big swing.
2 balls and 2 strikes to the Auburn shortstop. A leadoff single for Julian. Davis struck out. Williams popped out to center. Two nothing Arkansas. We're in the bottom half of the 4th. Holland into right center field, but that is plenty of room out there for Fletcher. Auburn is now 0 for 7 with runners on base in this game. Arkansas up 2-0. Over 4,000 on hand Wednesday when Auburn basketball left for Minneapolis, Minnesota. Probably seems like they haven't played in forever. But they will play this evening at 5:09 Central Time against Virginia. There's a boatload of Auburn folks in Minneapolis. 12 straight games they've won, an SEC tournament championship, and the first Final Four in school history. In the process, beating Kansas, North Carolina, and Kentucky.
Had such an amazing 2-week stretch and then take a whole week off. I'm sure it's like they just dead stopped. But I would think most of those guys needed some time. They had really gone hard and played themselves into a great season.
First pitch to Jacob Nesbitt is a strike call. He led off the 3rd, grounding out, but then Arkansas got back-to-back singles and a walk and scored on the single by Kierstead. That's where we are right now, 2-0 Razorbacks. A little bit low, a ball and a strike.
Wicklander with the lead right now at 2-0, but nothing but positive comments on these 2 freshman pitchers. They have handled the pressure of a 1-1 series well so far.
2 balls and a strike.
Like we talked about, Andy, if you can just give your team 5 good innings, and leave with the game close, you've done your job. Fitz is close. He needs 3 outs to do that, and then Wicklander will get his shot in the bottom of the 5th.
Ball 3 to Nesbitt. Two strikeouts and a walk for Fitz. He's gone 3-1 now to Nesbitt. Leadoff walk. And now Casey Opitz at the place, the catcher. Singled, got things started in the 3rd, singled up the middle and scored the first of 2 runs for the Razorbacks.
Probably about the time that Steve Smith will consider getting somebody warmed up. You've got Bailey Horn down there. If you're Auburn, you do have Ryan Watson. I think he could be available. Will Morrison, a sinker ball guy. There are some fresh arms and maybe one arm that threw yesterday in Watson, but I think you just can't sit too long if you're Steve Smith.
Opitz, did he go? They'll appeal. He did not. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Right where he picked up last night.
A leadoff walk and a throw over. Fitz does have a pickoff in this game. A ball and no strikes, the count to Opitz. Runner goes, fouled up the right side.
Just getting ready to say the one thing Coach Van Horn has shown Andy through 3 games is he is not going to take the bat out of his guys' hands with sacrifice bunts, but he does put on the hit and run there. I think it was a great call on a 1-0 count. Opitz a little bit early, but they're such good bat control guys up and down the lineup. They don't strike out a lot. He can count on most of his guys to at least be able to foul the ball off and cover the runner and not have a swing and miss and then a throw for a strikeout. Hit and run always, I think, a better option than a bunt if a guy can control the bat.
Off the end of the bat. A ball and 2 strikes to Opitz. Pace of this game has slowed considerably, hasn't it?
Just has that stale feel to it.
A leadoff walk for Nesbitt. 1-2 the count to Opitz. To the right side. Bliss gets the lead runner, and that's all they'll get.
No, because Opitz can boogie for a catcher. He gets down the line. It wasn't hit that hard. Ryan Bliss did a great job. He really couldn't come get it because he had the base runner in front of him, but a great job by Opitz of not letting it be Auburn's first double play of the weekend.
Another look. You get the leadoff guy, and that's...
Here's the first question you ask when you're on the road recruiting and you're at a showcase or a tournament and you're looking at position players. And the very first question you have to ask is, can he run? Can he run? And then the 1B is, can he hit? If a guy can really, really hit, maybe you can have less speed. But, boy, when you can combine like Arkansas has done, speed up and down the lineup with good hitting, you've heard that for years, speed kills. You see it right there, not letting that be a double play.
Opitz has 5 stolen bases. He's at first. And Franklin at the plate. Good block by Chase Hall.
Chase Hall's done a good job. I saw Matt Scheffler before the game. So here's some leadership by Matt Scheffler. No gear on, which I didn't know he wasn't starting until I saw this. And he's down there giving Chase Hall dirt balls. They were down the corner, catcher with catcher, almost like a coach would do, throwing Chase Hall some caught balls, but also some dirt balls, working on blocking.
Franklin 3 for 12 in the weekend. Out of play.
His 2 good swings have come, Franklin that is, when he was patient and let the ball get deep and hit a line drive. And he had 4 or 5 strikeouts against the power arms of Greenhill and Burns, trying to do too much.
He was 0 for 4 in the first game with 4 strikeouts.
Yep. And just trying to overswing a little bit. When he has shut things down and just let the barrel work a little bit.
And he's 3 for 7 in the last 2 games.
He's had 3 really quality at bats. So, yes. Again, not trying to do too much.
Didn't get the call. 2 balls and a strike. Opitz at first. 1 out in the inning. 2-0 Arkansas. We're in the 5th. Ball 3.
And surprise, surprise, Auburn has a left-handed pitcher in the bullpen named Blake Shalacy, a guy that Auburn fans had not heard his name much until Tuesday. I believe that's him. Came in relief against Georgia Tech and really threw the ball well after having 1 inning on the season. All it takes is 1 good ball game to win a little bit of trust from the Auburn coaches, and if that's him getting loose, credits to him.
3-1, and it's a walk to Franklin. And now you have first and second and 1 out, and you're at the top of the order again.
In the switch hitter with Ezell, so Arkansas is okay with whatever Steve Smith decides. If they bring in a left-handed reliever, there's Blake Shalacy getting loose in the bullpen, and that might be it. Ezell will flip around and hit right-handed.
Fitz at 71 pitches as Shalacy works in the Auburn pen and Steve Smith comes out. Well, walks coming back to haunt Auburn a little bit. 2 in this inning.
Yeah, no question. It's the one thing that Auburn has done in its 2 losses, and the one thing Arkansas has not done, really, for the most part, all weekend. Isaiah Campbell didn't walk anybody. They didn't win. Arkansas did not win game 1, but they have thrown strikes consistently.
And the question is, do you want to go with Fitz and make Ezell bat left-handed, or do you want to turn him around and bring Shalacy in, bat him right-handed?
Well, I think it's whatever Steve Smith thinks he feels better with Ezell. He hit a home run yesterday right-handed, hit the bomb, 2-run home run, hit that right-handed with 2 strikes. I think he's going to leave, Fitz in and let him work through this. Probably 1 more hitter.
And now you've turned the lineup over now. And I mean, this is very, very close. No, it's the exact same situation we saw in the 3rd.
Yep.
First and second, 1 out. Same guys on base. And now you're at the top of the order in Ezell.
And you just made a great statement. That's what the walks do. They turn the lineup over. Arkansas is pretty good 1 through 9, but they're really good 1 through 5. Now, because of the walk, you have now brought this top of the lineup up with a chance, really, with a couple of big hits to stretch this game out a little bit and maybe put the dagger in Auburn if you can have a big inning.
2 walks in this inning, with Opitz down at second and Franklin at first, and Richard Fitz trying to keep this a 2-run ball game in the 5th. Two left by Ezell and out of play. Yesterday, game 2, Ezell at the plate on a 1-2 pitch and a no-doubter.
It sure was, and Steve Smith may feel better about the power potential of Ezell left-handed. Less power potential maybe than right. Maybe that's why he left him in. Maybe he just wanted to see if he, Fitz has not thrown poorly. He does have a couple of walks. He's thrown well. And there's not a lot of depth in that Auburn bullpen, so there's not a lot of great answers. But I think maybe it was just potentially more power right-handed how they switched Ezell around.
His 4th home run of the season. Block by Hall.
By Chase Hall. Yep, working very hard back there to block and keep the ball in front of him.
A ball and a strike. Arkansas trying to add to a 2-0 lead. Out hit Auburn 4-2. First and second for Arkansas as Fitz stretches. Ezell into deep center field. Howell goes back, he looks up, and it's gone. A 3-run homer for Ezell.
Apparently the power potential is pretty good for both sides of the plate for Ezell. What a player he is. What a player Trevor Ezell is.
Walks kill you. They just kill you. And all 3 walks have come home to score, and it's a 5-0 Arkansas lead. And that will be all for Richard Fitz.
What a great job offensively by Arkansas. They have a big lead here in the 5th inning, and they have gotten into the Auburn bullpen. And not a terrible job by Fitz. He needs a little offensive help. Had some walks that hurt him in the big blow there by Ezell.
Fitz watching this one going out of the ballpark. Ezel's second home run in as many games. And the Razorbacks lead at 5-0 as Auburn goes to the bullpen to Blake Shalacy. 5-0 Razorbacks. When you don't have two of your starters in Southeastern Conference play, it will show up typically. And you look at the ERA for Auburn in the SEC. That is without Davis Daniel all season and without Jack Owen since the first weekend of SEC play. Richard Fitz, 4 1/3 innings as he talks with Tanner Burns in the Auburn dugout. 5 runs all earned. The big blow, the 3-run homer by Trevor Ezel here in the 5th inning. And Auburn goes to Blake Shalacy, who was really good here on Tuesday night in a relief role against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and it's a neat story, Andrew. He was the forgotten man on this Auburn staff. He had thrown 1 inning. And all these young guys and all their hype and everything, and he just sat there and waited, and Auburn was really thin on Tuesday and didn't pitch well, and they needed somebody to step up. And Blake Shalacy came out through multiple innings, threw a good curveball, touched his fastball 87, 88. He's the one senior on this staff and really did a good job, so he's earned Steve Smith's trust to come in here and pitch.
First man he faces is Heston Kjerstad.
The thing about the breaking ball, you see it there, it's going to be 62 to 64 miles. It's an eephus curveball, but it was very effective on Tuesday night. This is not a blowout patch. This game is only in the 5th inning. Nobody in the Auburn dugout is quitting.
2 balls and no strikes inside to Kjerstad. Fitz, 5 runs, all earned, 3 walks, and all 3 walks came home to score.
Yep, that's what killed Brooks Fuller yesterday, and it's hurt Richard Fitz today as well.
Let me amend that. But first the 2-0 to Kjerstad. Fouled back, 2-1. It set up the first 2 runs. That walk to Ezel in the 3rd set up the first 2 runs. Ezel was eventually stranded at 3rd, but the 2 walks in this inning both came home to score on the home run by Ezel. 2-1. Strike 2 on the inside corner.
Andy, I felt it last weekend after Auburn played Arkansas. It was similar pitching. They struggled. They managed to win 2 out of 3, but I thought in my mind, if they do this against Arkansas, it'll be a different result, and so far it is. Auburn has time to come back, chip away, and win the ball game.
Lined into right center field. He hung the curveball, and Kjerstad has his second base hit of the day.
But Arkansas has made Auburn pay. South Carolina did not, for falling behind and having to throw a pitch out of the middle of the plate. It's kind of like a changeup. It's a slow curveball. The speed fools you first. The break finishes you off. Kjerstad with a really good job of staying late, letting the 64-mile-an-hour curveball come to him.
And now here is Casey Martin. 0 for 2 on the day. Pass ball that misses outside. Five to nothing. Razorbacks. 2 in the 3rd. 3 more here in the 5th. Auburn has been held to 2 hits and does not have a hit with a runner on base in this game. 2 balls and no strikes to Martin.
We've seen the struggles of the Auburn pitching staff. The Arkansas pitching staff, the exact opposite. They've had some young guys go out there as well. They've climbed the mountain and thrown very well, and now put Arkansas in position to win this series.
3-0 to Martin, and Auburn's bullpen will get to work again.
Got more lefties. Kyle Gray, Bailey Horn, Peyton Glavin.
3-0. Down the middle for a strike. Glavin actually in the Auburn dugout. You saw that picture of Richard Fitz. I don't know if Peyton is on the active roster this weekend. There he is. 3-1. And another walk. 3rd walk of the inning for Auburn. Now 1st and 2nd, and Dominic Fletcher to the plate.
You see Steve Smith. It's frustrating dealing with youth and guys that struggle, but if there's one guy that can handle it, it's Steve Smith. You would not want to have a young pitching coach going through this. I've been there as a young pitching coach. It's tough, but Steve Smith's the one guy to be patient enough to hang with these guys and try to figure it out. He may not. There's some things that he just can't do for these pitchers on the mound, but he'll do all he can with his years of experience to try to walk some guys through these struggles and get them going.
Dominic Fletcher to the plate. First and second as Arkansas tries to add to a 5-0 lead. Strike called. No balls and a strike. Strike two.
Pitch, very good. See if Shalacy can just work his way through this. 5-0. Arkansas does have a little bit of a thin bullpen, so not impossible to climb the hill if Auburn can battle through this and Shalacy can get 2 quick outs. Arkansas would really have a chance with some more hits to put this thing away early.
0-2. Up the left side, out of play. Auburn won game 1 yesterday 6-3, coming from behind. Arkansas came from behind to win game 2 in 15 innings, 9-6. Auburn had multiple chances to win that game and weren't able to do so.
Fletcher having another one of those. I bet they've had 30 at-bats like this in 3 days. And you can really work a pitching staff down when you just battle. They have done a great job, and Fletcher's doing it again, of just hanging in there with 2 strikes until he gets his pitch. The more pitches the hitter sees, the more the advantage goes to the hitter. You see the pitcher's whole mix, which for Blake Shalacy is pretty much a fastball and a curveball. And once you've seen it all, there's not much left to fool you.
Another 0-2 pitch to Fletcher. Spoiled the curve.
How many 2-strike foul balls have we seen in the last 2 days? It's really exciting. I'm a former pitcher. You think I would hate it, but I love when the game of baseball guys buy in and they play like this, and it's really fun to watch.
Fletcher 0 for 2 today, but 5 for 12 in the series. He's behind 0-2.
It's every day. It begins in September. It's everyday conversation, T-work.
Into right at Stephen Williams. Runners will hold at first and second.
You know what? It ends in an out for Fletcher, but it's a quality at bat. He saw 8 pitches. He hit a rocket to right field. Happened to be right at Stephen Williams. The game's not fair, and your job as a hitter is not to, well, your job is to try to get a hit, but your job is to have a quality at bat, and then they play defense and catch it. Dominic Fletcher did a great job there.
There's Matt Goodhart, 1 for 2 with a single. Goodhart 6 for 11 on the weekend. 380 the average. Ball 1 low. First and second for the Razorbacks, 3 already home on the 3-run homer by Trevor Ezel. Missed the corner, 2-0.
It's been a horizontal plate for 2 days. There hasn't been a whole lot of diamond shape to it. It's been more of a straight, skinny rectangle, I guess. For both sides. Arkansas's had some pitches they've been upset about too. And Cronin had a couple last night that were good pitches, and they were called balls.
Ball 3 outside. Goodhart is the 8th man to bat in the inning for Arkansas. 3 walks in the inning, and the big blow, a 3-run homer. Strike call, 3-1.
All right, Goodhart's going to be turning the bat loose here. This guy's a very good hitter. He's got Blake Shalacy right where he wants him. This will be a fastball. There's no doubt about it. It's just got to be. So Goodhart can just sit tight and look for his cookie. That's what I heard a lot of hitters in pro ball call the pitch they wanted, a cookie right in the power zone.
Strike 2. Goodhart was already on his way to first.
Well, and Goodhart didn't like it. It was a great take. It was more of a pitcher's pitch, and I think it was probably, it got the corner. We hadn't seen a whole lot of corners yet last night and today, but I do think it was a pitch that was a good pitch for the pitcher, not a great pitch for Goodhart to swing out. Andy, he'll get the same exact pitch right here. He's going to get another fastball. 3-2 count.
Runners off with the pitch. Goodhart to left. Long run for Ward, and he'll run out of room.
Time and time again, fouling balls off. He just flicked it out of there. It was a good pitch to a good spot. And you see Steve Smith, that can be exhausting for everybody. When a team comes in like this with this kind of offensive approach, I tell you, everybody gets a little bit exhausted on the opposing team from the pitching standpoint because there's no let up. How many innings has the Auburn pitchers been in the stretch this weekend? Tanner Burns, I think it was 5 out of 6. Brooks Fuller was every inning. You know, the only guy maybe that got through some innings, Ryan Fitz a couple today, but for the most part, they have been in the stretch the whole weekend.
Another 3-2. And Goodhart went after one a little bit up and fouled it back.
I'll never be a hitting coach, but I would encourage my hitters. What's the word? Hypothetically speaking, hey guys, get the pitcher in the stretch. I was a pitcher. You're just not at home when you're in the stretch like you are when you're in the windup.
And yet we see some relievers work out of the stretch all the time.
Yeah, there are some guys. It's because it's all you do.
3-2 again. Up the right side to Woolley. To the bag, and the inning comes to a close. 3 runs in the inning on one swing of the bat. Ezel to dead center field. 5-0 Arkansas. Bottom half of the 5th, 5-0 Arkansas. We go to the Auburn dugout. Tigers head coach Butch Thompson joins. And, Coach, I guess the good thing, you've got time, you've got innings to get back into this ball game.
Yeah, we just need to get started. You know, we've been a little bit underneath. We got a good firm fastball out of this freshman pitcher and got to get on top a little bit more. And, you know, they had the big blow there, and it's not necessarily the home run. You know, solos don't get you, but, you know, walking 8 and 9 holes kind of got us to a spot here where we need to start doing some work pretty soon.
Coach, long emotional day yesterday, really a grind. What do you say to your guys here with 4 innings to go to keep them alert and playing hard?
Well, it's the normal, and I think it's got to start offensively now. We're just kind of trying to hold them at bay, you know, from a pitching standpoint, but we definitely need a spark from our offense to get back in it.
Thank you for the visit, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Auburn head coach Butch Thompson from the Auburn dugout. Ryan Bliss leads off the Auburn 5th.
And Patrick Wicklander, freshman on freshman here, is absolutely in control right now with a 5-run lead, making all of his pitches.
Strike call on the inside corner, 1-1 to Bliss, 0 for 1 with a fly ball to center.
Great example. He falls behind 1-0 and then comes back and paints on the inside part of the plate for strike 1.
2 balls and a strike to Bliss, 3 for 9 on the weekend with 5 runs batted in. Auburn's had a base runner in every inning today but the 3rd. Strike call, 2-2.
Every fastball's got good late life. You can see it from here. You can just see how much movement. That's unusual for a 4-seamer to have the kind of life it does have, much like Tanner Burns. Wicklander is just sinking it away.
Bliss fouls it out of play.
Andy, the one thing that you look for when you're Auburn and you're flat, you look for leaders. There's not a lot of veterans. I mean, everybody in that dugout is under a junior except for Will Holland. So the new guys, even the older guys, Rankin Wally is a junior, but he's a new guy. And that's the hardest thing for Coach Thompson, to develop leadership, especially when you're new, trying to find your way. Connor Davis, a junior. He's a guy that's been around a little bit. So that's the guys usually that step up in times like these and challenge people.
3-2, tap back to the pitcher. 2 first for the out.
Boy, I like that. So many times you'll see a pitcher catch it, kind of give the soft lob. Not Wicklander, boy, he caught it and probably threw it harder to first. He's been throwing it to home.
1 down on a nice play by Wicklander, the pitcher. And here's Chase Hall, the catcher.
I don't think the lull is a shock to Coach Thompson. He knew he was replacing a bunch of guys. He had 18 new players. When it happens to you, it doesn't make it fun, but this is when Coach Thompson's going to be at his best, is when he can take a team that's a little flat, lost some starting pitching, struggling, and keep them going, keep them focused, keep them working hard.
0-1 to Hall, to strikeout victim in the 2nd. 1-1 the count.
Auburn yet to get a barrel on a ball, a really solid barrel on a ball off of Wicklander. Tells you he's hiding the ball well. They're not seeing it very well. Not able to square him up.
or 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hall. Wicklander had thrown 1/3 of an inning in the SEC coming into today. He had 5 walks and an ERA of 99. He has absolutely shut down Auburn through 4 1/3 innings.
On the road in the game 3 of a rubber match, winning the series.
Strike 3.
Just carving. So it's Arkansas not throwing the ball around. You can see the fastball in the middle, inside part of the plate. Gosh, that's a dime. That's what you call throwing a dime. You know, as Arkansas is not throwing the ball around. They have a flight tonight. There's some rain coming, so I think there's been kind of the conversation. Let's get it going. Let's don't worry about throwing it around the infield and out. Let's try to get at least through 5 innings. Then it becomes a complete game if we do get rain.
Here's Judd Ward. Fouled back. Although they're not the same style pitcher. Reed Morgan a week ago today shut out Auburn. Auburn's only shutout of the season.
Yep.
The middle game of that series at South Carolina. Now Wicklander is doing the same thing today against Auburn. That one got Ward.
Got the arm pad on, but I think it missed the arm pad. Got the hand to the wrist. 90-mile-an-hour fastball with no padding there. Painful. Get a look at it here on the replay, and you'll see it just catching maybe arm and hand.
Yeah, maybe both.
Bicep and then the hand. That hurts. Jason Howell's been a spark plug for the first 30 games here for Auburn. He's had some great at-bats. And Auburn looking for a spark. Wicklander's doing a really good job, but SEC pitching does a good job. Somebody's got to step up for this Auburn offense and be a spark plug.
Ball 1 low to Howell. A runner at first, 2 down in the inning.
Hitting is contagious. If you can get some back-to-back hits, you can get things rolling. But when the pitcher doesn't give you any walks and free passes, hard to get it going.
Oh, my. Oh, my. 1-1 the count. That may have woken up the crowd.
Somewhat.
1 ball to 1 strike. Upstairs, 2-1. Ward at first, 2 outs in the inning. Auburn trails 5-0. There's ball 3 to Howell.
Doesn't take much. Get some guys on base. Ezel, 1 big hit after 2 walks, and Arkansas stretches the lead out. Auburn potentially with Woolley on deck, same kind of potential. Get some guys on base, get 1 big hit, and just climb back into it. Never as far away as you think you are.
3-1. Chopper foul. Count is full.
I talked about the mental approach, Andy, in our pregame would be the difference, the mental toughness. I think Arkansas so far, and it starts with Wicklander and their quality at bats, they've been the more mentally rested, I guess, or mentally tough, whatever you want to say. Auburn's got tough players, but they've been the team a little more alert and prepared so far into the 5th inning.
2-out walk. First and second now for Auburn with 2 down in the inning.
Pitch count closing in on 90 for Wicklander, which is good for Auburn. They'd like to see what's left in the bullpen, and the Arkansas bullpen now will begin to stir around a little bit.
Matt Hobbs, pitching coach in his first season at Arkansas, is out. Despite 3 walks and a hit batter, he's been in the strike zone. And there is activity in the bullpen for Arkansas.
And I can't imagine it's Scroggins, but it has his look. We're a long way away from that visiting bullpen. Cody Scroggins had a really good day yesterday, throwing nasty sliders and a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
It is Scroggins that's warming up.
Pitched multiple innings yesterday and really threw a lot of pitches, and he was very good.
So Matt Hobbs back to the dugout. First and second for Auburn, 2 outs. Rankin Woolley. And that is Scroggins in the bullpen. Woolley is 1 for 13 this weekend.
He's mentioned it twice. Auburn desperately in need of that one big hit.
Past the catcher. Runners in scoring position for Auburn now.
Arkansas's had 3 of them. 3 multiple, and I mean home runs. They had the 2-run shot yesterday from Ezell, the solo shot from Kerstad. Today, the 3-run shot by Ezell. 3-run, multiple run home runs are what we consider big hits. Yes, singles are good. A base hit here is good. But those are the hits that set you apart. It's the 3-run home run and the big hits that help you get in games, and for Arkansas, help you build a good lead.
Right underneath the hands and a good pitch from Wicklander. Auburn continues to look for that first base hit today with runners in scoring position.
If Wicklander can get this one last out, he has done his job very well today for Arkansas.
Foul past third.
Give him 5 solid innings on Sunday in game 3 of a series. Allow the bullpen, which was very good and has some arms left in it, to take over. And you're a freshman with 1 inning on the season. You've done a really good job. 1 strike and 1 out for Patrick Wicklander to get, and feel really good about his day.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Rankin Woley led the nation last year in junior college. Began his career at LSU, played in the College World Series as a freshman. Moved to Chattahoochee Valley Community College and led the nation in hitting. Either hits or average, I don't know which one. And it's come here now to Auburn, and boy, he's desperately in need of one of those big hits here.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Scroggins continues to warm up in the bullpen for the Razorbacks.
And if Edouard Julian is called on to face Scroggins, I think this will be Patrick Wicklander's last hitter if he doesn't get him out. It will be a steady dose of sliders. It's no secret, but it's a really, really good slider that we saw yesterday at 87, 86 miles an hour.
He went after a pitch that was ball 4. It wasn't even close. And Wicklander works out of problems. Through 5-0 Arkansas. The bottom part of the order setting up the top of the order for Arkansas. Wicklander has been terrific in this start. His first SEC start has not allowed a hit with a runner on base for Auburn in this one, and has shut out the Tigers through 5. Heston Kjerstad drives home a couple with a base hit, giving Arkansas a 2-0 lead. And then Trevor Ezell with the big blow, a 3-run homer to dead center field, and Arkansas leads it 5-0.
Andy, we're going to have Bailey Horn come on to pitch. Pitching change for Auburn. Shalacy did a good job. He got out of the inning. They called on him to stop the bleeding. He did. Now turns it back over to Bailey Horn, left-handed reliever out of junior college in Texas. Not quite a year removed from Tommy John. The numbers show a guy maybe still trying to find it after a Tommy John surgery, trying to get his stuff back. It'll be 89-91. The breaking ball is good. He has been hit pretty hard. Some of that is just the feel, just trying to get back into the rhythm of being a pitcher after going through a surgery.
So Horn is on for Auburn. And he will get Kenley, Nesbitt, and Opitz. 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Fastball missed upstairs.
And you'll see Horn do that. He's got to do a better job of a finish. Right there, he was falling toward third base before the ball left his hand. He's got to try to stay through pitches. Big, strong kid, great lower half. Better there. Got downhill and stayed on that one. 90 miles an hour on the outside part of the plate.
A ball and a strike. Nesbitt 0 for 2. He's flied to left. He's flied to center. Sells it to the backstop. 2 balls and a strike. Five to nothing Arkansas. The Razorbacks have shut out the Tigers on just 2 base hits through 5 innings. Missed the corner. 3-1. Steve Smith comes out.
He thinks he's hurt or not. I don't know if he's talking about the arm of Bailey Horn. They're going to have the trainer go out and check. He is just under a year, I think, removed from Tommy John. Something Steve Smith saw that he did not like. Yeah.
Anthony Sanderson is Auburn's athletic trainer. You see anything?
I thought I saw the pitch before he looked at it. You know,
Okay.
he threw the one he threw up and in, just missed the batter's head. I saw him do something then that looked a little different. Nothing there. I didn't. The velocity was good. Steve Smith going to go to the bullpen. We'll get a pitching change and maybe be Kyle Gray.
If it is, whomever it is, will get, I think, as much time as they need to warm
They
up.
will, and you hate it for Bailey Horn. It's
Oh,
so hard to
goodness.
go through that, and you get to Auburn, and you want to be out there helping, and you just hope it's not a setback, maybe just some irritation.
All right, this is the pitch that you were talking about, Mark.
He misses with a fastball up and in, right here. And right there,
Yeah,
right
he
there,
he
right
looked
there.
right. He
that look.
immediately looked into the dugout, didn't he?
That's kind of that.
And he was
that
starting to
didn't
flex that
feel
left
right.
arm. Yeah. Hmm.
Yep. It makes your your stomach. You pull for kids. I don't care if it's Arkansas, Auburn. You pull for kids, and you don't want to see them have troubles, and they want to be on the field. And when you have injuries like that, hard to be out there.
Kyle Gray is on for Auburn. Kyle Gray is on for Auburn, replacing Bailey Horn, who we believe something happened on his next to last pitch. He immediately looked into the Auburn dugout, threw one more pitch, and then Steve Smith came out, and Auburn brought the athletic trainer Anthony Sanderson out, and Horn was taken out of the game. So Kyle Gray is on now for Auburn here in the top half of the sixth. This is the pitch in question. He immediately looks into the dugout for Auburn, and watch him start to flex that left arm. Yeah.
And Andy, when that, and I'm not saying he's done it again, I don't have any idea, but when you have the Tommy John injury, you lose total command. I mean, I've heard of guys that just have unbelievable Tanner Burns type control, and all of a sudden they're throwing against the backstop. The ligament is right where the elbow, the lower arm, the upper arm come together. It kind of holds things in place, and when it pops or tears, your command, your ability to feel your arm, you talk about tingling, numbness, pain, and that's it. And that's what Bailey Horn has already been through with the surgery coming out of junior college, and you just hope it's a small setback, something that he can overcome quickly and get back out there again.
So Kyle Gray is on for Auburn. He inherits a 3-1 count to Jack Kenley. Got to be careful with this guy on this first pitch. Kenley has 6 home runs this season.
Kyle Gray, one of the new faces. He was Auburn's Sunday starter back 6 weeks ago, and he's kind of worked his way out of the rotation with walks, much like a lot of the young pitchers have been up and down with walks.
And there's ball 4.
Until Auburn gets some help back, and hopefully they will, from one of their 2 pitchers that's hurt, it's going to take a great deal of patience and somebody climbing that hill. Some of those young pitchers climbing that hill and trying to give them some help. Right now, the pitching is not a strong part of this Auburn staff.
Here's Jacob Nesbitt, the third baseman. He's walked and grounded out. Takes a strike.
Kyle Gray's got good stuff. I mean, it's going to be 86 to 89. He has one of the better breaking balls in the team. It's not the stuff that has hurt him. It's been the walks and then falling behind and then some multiple run hits that he's given up.
Inside, a ball and a strike.
And I don't think he can do what he just did. They didn't call it a balk. I'm probably wrong, but he changed the rhythm on his leg kick, and I'm not sure. Nobody called it, so I'm going to hope I'm wrong, but he had a rhythm on the first pitch and then changed it. I don't think you can do that in the stretch. We'll see. There he is again at pause.
Into right for Stephen Williams. And there's one out in the inning.
So here's the rule that they go by. There can be no deception to the base runner. And right there you see a little pause, pump, and go. I thought the pitch before he had kind of a normal rhythm. If you have a normal rhythm and then go and do that, it's a balk. Now Tanner Burns does that at the windup with nobody on base, but in the stretch, you cannot change your rhythm or cadence. You have to pick it up and go the same each pitch.
One down for Casey Opitz, the catcher. He singled. He's reached on a fielder's choice. He scored 2 of the 5 runs today for Arkansas.
Right there, so I'm going to assume I'm wrong. And these are good umpires. These guys know what they're doing. In my mind, I would encourage my pitchers to not do that, but hadn't been called. That was a different rhythm. We'll just chalk it up as Fuller's wrong again. I'm okay with that.
1-0. Inside 2-0.
I'm content in my wrongness.
Opitz, the number 8 hitter, and Franklin, who's on deck, the number 9 hitter, have scored 4 of the 5 runs today for Arkansas. The bottom of the order has set up the top of the order. Set the plate. And Ezel and Kirstead have delivered. Ball 3.
What's the old saying? It's impossible to defend the walk.
3-1 or 3-0 the count. Opitz takes a strike. Five nothing Razorbacks. Trying to add to that lead here in the top half of the 6th. 1 out, 1 on. 3-1 the count to Casey Opitz. And he walks him.
Six walks today. I think it was 9 yesterday. This is an explosive offense, and they are taking advantage of Auburn giving them just a free chance to walk to first base. And a long sit for the Arkansas pitching staff. I don't know if Wicklander is finished. I think he might be, but it's a long sit for him after a lot of pitches. You know, and you like the runs, but you also want to get out there. He's got a 5-0 lead, and when you're a pitcher, you like to keep the rhythm going of getting out there and staying in your groove. So for him, he's got to stay warm, keep the heat on his shoulder. It's a cool day, a little humidity to it. So for him in the other dugout, it's just about staying warm and moving until he can get back out there.
It's Christian Franklin, first and second, and 1 out. Strike call. Franklin singled and scored in the 3rd, walked and scored in the 5th. 5-0 Razorbacks, top half of the 6th, first and second, and 1 out. Bluff back to second.
Auburn playing Franklin to pull a little bit. Will Holland is off the bag, not holding. Bliss a little closer just in case Auburn does decide to try to spin move pick or just to keep the base runner as close as you can.
The 0-1. Missed upstairs, a ball and a strike. Kenley at second and Opitz at first. Series tied at a game apiece, but Arkansas up 5-0. Ball 2. And Arkansas in no hurry to help Auburn pitching right now.
Absolutely not. That's a part of the game. If they want to give it to you, don't help them out by chasing balls that are not strikes.
3-1. He's about to walk the bases loaded.
But when you get your pitch, Coach Van Horn, I'm sure, is very much reminding these guys, hey, get your pitch and go. It's a 3-1 count. This is a count that really, frankly, I don't think he'll be taken. I can't imagine they would put the take on. I think they would let him turn the bat loose if he gets that cookie we talked about. I heard one guy in pro ball say he wants it warmed up in the microwave with ice cream on top. His best pitch. There's
a second
move.
Runner back.
It's a timing pick. The pitcher comes set, looks home, counts 1,001. He spins and throws, and Bliss is there.
Three balls and a strike. Left side, Julian. Second for 1 to first, not in time. And runners will be at the corners and the top of the order coming up.
Long way to throw it. Auburn good to get one, and great hustle by Franklin. There's not a dead-footed out in this Arkansas lineup. Julian did a good job taking his body towards the bag, and Bliss did a good job of turning. Just good speed up and down the lineup, and that's what you can do when you can run. You can stay out of those kind of inning double plays. If Ezell has a big hit here, like he's done twice, to put this game out of reach a little bit, Andy, it's because of that hustle right there by Franklin. He beat out a 2-ball with his speed.
Ezell lined to left in the first, walked in the third, and hit a 3-run homer to center in the 5th. His second home run in as many games.
I tell you, and somebody at Arkansas is doing a heck of a job with their weight training program, because these guys from their shoulders down are physical. And Ezell is as physical as anybody on that team. Franklin as well. Big, strong lower half. There's a lot of time spent when those kids roll in August with the weight training.
A ball and no strikes.
I don't know Ezell's past in high school, but I would bet he was not a first baseman in high school. I could see him being a shortstop, a center fielder, an athlete who has kind of evolved and found his way over to first base. Recruit shortstops and let them kind of filter out 2 positions.
2 balls and no strikes.
Kyle Gray just needs some positive flow. He just needs to find a way to have an inning where he's consistent and see. I don't know if he can or not, but possibly get back on track. I mean, he got recruited to come here. He did something in junior college that's very impressive. He threw a lot of strikes. He pitched well. Just some positive flow, but he's the one that's got to go do it. Nobody can do it for him. Will Morrison begins to loose for Auburn. Side armor with good sink.
3 balls and no strikes to Ezell. Kerstead waits on deck. And a strike.
Coach Thompson and Coach Smith, they can't just let this thing get away. I mean, you got to keep fighting, keep plowing. That's the term. Get behind the plow and push it and turn the ground over. And any button you can push to create some positive flow. And so that's why the bullpen is up and going.
Third walk of the inning for Auburn. And now the bases are loaded for Kerstead.
Yeah. We said that in the first inning, and he had a big hit. I'm sorry, in the third inning, he had a big hit to score 2 runs. So here we are again with, I can't say their most dangerous hitter, because I think they're pretty dangerous really up and down the lineup, but certainly a guy who can hurt you here in this situation.
He's 2 for 3 today. With a strikeout in the first, he singled home 2 runs in the third and singled in the 5th.
And since going 0 for 7 in game 2 yesterday, the home run to give Arkansas the lead, he's 3 for 4.
Yeah.
Hitters have to have a short-term memory. They have to be able to forget about what has happened and just keep pushing forward, and Kerstead has done that.
So the bases are loaded for Kerstead. Batting .500 this season with the bases loaded. Gray stretches and pitches, misses. Unfortunately for Auburn, the misses are not that close.
No, Kyle Gray's got to be careful he doesn't balk. He wasn't quick there, but you get so locked in sometimes on throwing a strike, you forget to come set and stop your hands.
1-0 to Kerstead. Fouled it back.
Left-on-left matchup favors Gray. He has good stuff. He's just got to get in that strike zone.
The bases are loaded for the Hogs. Franklin down at second base. 2 balls and a strike.
You mentioned the Hogs, Andy. It really is quite a experience to see the 7th inning stretch in Fayetteville. There's 8,000 to 10,000 strong, and the Pig Suey begins, and have these gentlemen with Daisy Duke shorts who stay on the dugout and do their thing, and it is quite an experience. I think it's the most imposing for a visiting team atmosphere in the conference, and that includes Baton Rouge and Starkville. It's just a tradition that It's fun to watch.
2-1 lifted out of play by Kjerstad, 2-2.
They really have a good time and they pack it out. Dave Van Horn's built a program and a following that stadium is packed for conference and non-conference, and they have a lot of fun. And it was fun to go play there. I really enjoyed it when I coached at Auburn, and loved to watch that bottom of the 7th inning.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Kjerstad. Imperative for Auburn to get out of this inning unscathed, to have a chance.
You're right, and Gray does have the good curveball.
Chopper to the right side. Woolley flips to Gray, and the inning comes to a close. Work around 3 walks in the inning, and nobody comes home. Through 5 1/2, 5-0 Arkansas.
PPV.
Edouard Julien will lead it off for Auburn. A freshman All-American season for the Quebec City native. Named the Canadian College Player of the Year. Freshman record, 69 runs batted in, surpassing Hall of Famer Frank Thomas. And looking for that 100th RBI in his Auburn career. Trying to join Tim Hudson, Gabe Gross, Frank Thomas, Todd Faulkner to do it quickly, as quickly. And a new pitcher for Arkansas after he threw 54 pitches in Game 2 yesterday. Cody Scroggins is back out there in Game 3 today. A great job by Wicklander.
Sure was.
Wow.
Got to give him so much credit for coming on the road in an opposing team's field, down a series 1-1, pitching in the rubber game, and giving his team not just a good start, he gave them a quality start of shutout baseball for 5 innings. I'm surprised to see Scroggins in the game, Andy. 54 pitches yesterday, but he's one of their guys. I don't know how much depth Arkansas has. There's a couple of guys on their list who have not pitched. I don't know where they are as far as pitches, their arms. So Coach Van Horn going to his bullpen and using one of his horses. Yesterday, it was 90% sliders, followed by a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. So big league stuff here from Cody Scroggins.
He will get Edouard Julien to lead off the 6th for Auburn. Ball 1 upstairs. Auburn has 2 base hits, one of those from Julien, leading off the Auburn 4th. Tigers have stranded 6 through 5 innings. Julien into the gap in left center field, and that's extra bases for Edouard. He's into second base with a double.
Well, he got the slider, and that's what these Auburn hitters should sit on, dead red slider. We'll see if Cody Scroggins, if Auburn adjusts. You see Edouard's parents, they've been here for a while watching him, but if Auburn adjusts and starts to hit his slider, we'll see if Scroggins then goes to more. That was a fastball. That was a fastball middle of the play. I'm sorry, it was not a slider. And a great job by Edouard Julien. You would have to assume, there you see the Julians enjoying watching their son play. You would have to assume after 54 pitches, Andy, it won't be as powerful as it was yesterday. That's a lot of pitches. He threw a lot of pitches in the stretch. So you have to assume it won't be as powerful as it was yesterday.
Now Connor Davis to the plate. Get it out, Andy. A leadoff double for Julien. 5-0 Razorbacks. To the right side. This will get the runner to third.
There's a slider, a good one. Connor Davis was looking for it, but he missed it. The ball had late action. He saw it in the middle of the plate. If you can make the pitch move 5 feet or more closer to home plate, the hitters can adjust to that kind of late action. That's what Scroggins did.
So 1 out, and here's Stephen Williams.
Scroggins was a position player. He went through a Tommy John surgery, much like Bailey Horn for Auburn. And he's recovered now to become a full-time pitcher with a really good arm for Arkansas. Probably could close if it wasn't for Cronin down there, but they have maybe the elite closer in the country.
Strike 1 to Williams.
93.
Williams is 0 for 2. Struck out and flied out to center. Auburn looking for its first base hit with a runner on base today. Just trying to scratch a run aboard.
That's right.
Right now.
Positive flow. Positive flow.
Inside, a ball and a strike.
Baseball momentum is a fragile thing. You can have it for 7 innings and lose it in about 5 minutes. And so Scroggins doing his best now to make good pitches. Back-to-back 93-mile-an-hour fastballs there. And Judd Ward wanting to keep him on the ropes and drive this run in. Infield's back. I'm sorry, Stephen Williams.
The ball and 2 strikes.
So that's 3 consecutive 93s. So Cody Scroggins is adjusting so far. He is pumping more fastballs today than we saw yesterday. That's good baseball. Here's what I did to you yesterday. You can sit on that today, and I'm going to change it up on you.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Williams. A gray afternoon at Plainsman Park.
Unusual to see a guy come in this early. Now in Omaha, absolutely. But Super Regional to get you to Omaha, but this early in the season to see one of your better guys pitch the next day after 54 pitches, it's unusual. No loss in stuff, not so far. It's feel. The velocity is going to be there. It's just it's command, I think, that sometimes a guy could lose when he is a little fatigued.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Williams, a runner at third. 5-0 Arkansas. Strike 3.
Boy, what a good slider. There it was. It buckled Stephen Williams. It buckled him from the right-handed pitcher to the left-handed batter. We'll see it here. He buckles. Whoa. Actually had a little split spin to it. Maybe he's got me confused because that was pretty nasty. That had 2-seam action on it.
2 outs now, and it's up to Will Holland. Oh for 1 with a walk. Blocked by Opitz.
How many times we said that the last 3 days?
A lot.
By Opitz. Yes, sir. Give the credits their glory. I had one of the actually, Matt Scheffler's mom was so grateful that we gave catchers credit because it never happens. Well, these guys have earned it. They deserve it.
2 balls and no strikes to Holland.
I don't know why catchers don't get more credit. They do everything. They're involved on every single play of the game. They sacrifice their body. They always smell bad. They take a beating. They get bruised.
Why'd you go
They
there?
do. They always smell bad.
There's a strike, 2-1.
Pitch, good slider. Their batting gloves are just, they don't change batting gloves, and their gloves are always sweaty and dirty. I always stayed away from catchers, but I loved having good ones.
2 balls and a strike to Holland. Time called.
That'll hurt.
0 for 10.
What's the old saying? That'll leave a mark if you're an offensive coach.
It's going to be 0 for 11. Got a runner to third with 1 out and did not get him home. 5-0 Arkansas through 5 or through 6. 5-0 Arkansas. Razorbacks to the plate in the top half of the 7th. Plenty of prospects for the Major League Draft in 2 years.
And Casey Martin, out of all those guys, Tanner Burns pretty good. Kerstad's been pretty good. Casey Martin's been dynamic. He has been explosive. Not a real big guy, but a complete package of a baseball player. Run, arm strength, can hits for power, has got some home runs, and plays great defense.
And you may ask, well, why isn't a guy like Edouard Julien on that list? Well, Julien is actually eligible for the draft this year.
Yeah,
he's a draft-eligible sophomore.
He is. So what that means is you're turning 21 years old 45 days before or after the draft. And if that happens, Case and Howe will be in that boat for Auburn next year. Davis Daniel was in that boat last summer.
Right.
Passed up some good money in the summer and has come back to have the injury for Auburn. So that's what that means when you hear that a guy is draft eligible before his junior year. Auburn is the one sport that makes guys stay. They got to stay 3 years. They can transfer, but they can't be drafted until they're draft eligible or a junior.
The 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Arkansas in the 7th, Martin, Fletcher, and Goodhart. And you know Arkansas would just like to put this game away now.
No question.
Just end it.
Yep. They kind of had Auburn on the ropes. 5-0 is still somewhat in striking distance, although the way Scroggins just threw the ball, and Cronin, I think, has probably an inning in him. It may not be, but yeah, a couple more will probably do it if you're Arkansas. I don't know why basketball hasn't adopted the baseball rule. I think it's a great rule to make these guys make a decision. I mean, basketball players can no longer be drafted out of high school. Baseball players can, but make up a decision. Either go spend 3 years, get your degree, or, well, for baseball, don't. You can sign pro if you get drafted, but instead of staying the whole one-and-done thing, as we're going to see the Duke players do, make them stay.
4-pitch walk to Martin.
He'll do it. We're going to see Will Morrison next. He's a sidearm sinker ball guy. He will have the potential to get a ground ball and get a double play.
The inability to throw strikes, it has plagued the Tigers since losing Jack Owen before the Mississippi State series. And you say, well, how can losing one guy do that? Well, it's a trickle-down effect.
It is, no question.
You're using guys on the weekends that you would typically be using in the midweeks, and the guys in the midweeks are guys that you might not use but a couple mop-up innings.
Yeah, and you're having to put guys in roles of responsibility that they aren't ready for yet. You know, they need some time. Let's see a smile on Steve Smith. That's the experience. I would have to say if I was the pitch coach, I'd be frowning, but Steve Smith finding a way to find a smile here in a tough day.
Will Morrison is on for Auburn. Will Morrison is on for Auburn, the Tigers' 5th pitcher of the day. And he needs to do one thing. Throw strikes.
Get outs behind that.
Yeah.
Those strikes. You're right. Excuse me, Andy. He's going to sink it 86 to 87. It's this guy, I can say this with confidence. He's going to be a weapon for Auburn. It's very similar. Auburn fans remember Calvin Coker the last 2 years, who became really deadly as a senior last year. It's almost a clone to that. It's a very effective arm slot if he can get in that strike zone, get the ball down, let it sink. He's worked hard on the slider, which sets apart. It kind of protects the sinker because hitters can't just look for a fastball running away. But it's not a great matchup with left-handed hitters. I will say that, Andy. Excuse me.
But Auburn is running out of arms.
They are. Yeah, they sure are.
And here is Dominic Fletcher, who's 0 for 3 in this game. And that's ball one outside.
It's not a great matchup because this lineup is stacked with left-handed hitters, so they see this ball better. The side, he hadn't even gotten a leadoff yet, and Will Morris tried to pick him off. That's a nervous reaction. I used to do it. I've been there. But they're just going to see the ball better from this lower arm slot. That's why he's got to keep the ball down.
Runner goes. Swing and a miss. No throw. Didn't have a chance to throw him out.
Nope. Had a great jump, and I think Fletcher maybe thought hit and run and then saw a good jump and didn't want to swing but gave a half swing.
A ball and a strike. That's a huge jump.
Yep, they guessed right and on time.
8th stolen base of the year for Martin. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dominic Fletcher. Missed the corner.
There you see the good sink at 86. A really good spot, but there haven't been any corners on the plate in the last 2 games, so you're not going to get that. Morrison doing his best to try to pitch to his strengths. Sink it and try to get a ground ball to the right side here by Fletcher. And Fletcher trying to hit the ball to the right side to advance the runner over.
2-1. Ball driven into right. Williams is back. That's going to be a hopper off the wall. Martin will come home to score. The throw to second. It's not in time, and it's 6-0 Arkansas with the lead. Double by Dominic Fletcher, his 24th run batted in. Leadoff walk, and the double, and it's 6-0 Arkansas on top.
Fastball in the middle, too. Yeah, he just almost hit it out. What a good swing. What a really good swing there by Dominic Fletcher.
Goodhart to left. Ward is back. The runner will tag. He will try to go to third. The throw is not in time.
Good baseball.
Sure was.
Jed Ward has a great arm. He didn't quite get his body turned, but he had to run a long way. Fletcher immediately went back to the bag and tagged up. 6 runs is not enough. Arkansas trying to get all they can.
6 runs on getaway day in the SEC.
Yep. Trying to add more to it.
1 out, and here is Jack Kenley.
Auburn has to bring the infield up. They're doing all they can here. to cut this run down and try to keep it at 6. Just don't let the next run score. That's always the mentality.
Ball one outside. Infield in for Auburn.
Everybody pinches. Holland pinches to his right. You leave the middle open. You try to pinch the gaps between first and short, second and third.
Horn behind the plate for Auburn. He's done a nice job. Oh, excuse me, Hall, not
Yeah, he really
Horn.
has.
Hall behind the plate.
He really has. He's no balls have gotten by him. He's had plenty of dirt balls, and he's caught a lot of pitches.
Two balls and a strike.
It's a good off day for Matt Scheffler. If Auburn is not able to come back, he can sit over there. He'll have tomorrow off. He'll have Monday off. And that, man, 3 days is going to be huge for him, and then back to work for Auburn on Tuesday against Jacksonville State. So Auburn hopes they come back and win, but if not, they've gotten their top catcher a day off. What a good pitch. There's the backdoor slider.
2-2.
That pitch right there set Calvin Coker apart. Calvin Coker, I keep mentioning his name. He was so good here for Auburn last year. That was the pitch to left-handed hitters, the backdoor slider, that just took the charge out of them. He didn't have it as a junior and found it as a senior. Same spot, not a strike.
Auburn thought it had strike 3 there.
Good pitch.
Here's another look.
Out a little bit.
Yep.
That's why you want to throw it, though. The hitter sees it out and gives up on it, and it just catches the corner. Morrison just missed on that one.
Second walk of the inning for Arkansas.
Not a terrible walk. He's got a right-on-right hitter now. If he can get that sinker down, he is a prime candidate to turn 2. Problem is, Arkansas can run top to bottom, and doubling them up has proven to be difficult. The 2 shots Auburn's had at it.
Jacob Nesbitt at the plate. Oh for 2 on the afternoon with a walk. Runners at the corners for Arkansas. Run home for the Hogs. 6-0 Arkansas on top. Runner goes from first. Throw to second base. Not in time. Now second and third with 1 out. For Kenley, his 6th stolen base of the year.
And they don't run a lot, and that's 2 stolen bases. So you kind of get the feeling Coach Van Horn, he's up on top of the step. He feels it. He knows it. This is our chance to really kind of put the final couple of nails here in this coffin. So let's go ahead and try to get it.
Infield remains in for Auburn. Will Morrison is Auburn's 5th pitcher of the day. Fouled back, 0-2.
And we have seen now, Andy, in the series, all 5 of the freshmen. Auburn was and still is high on these guys. It's just going to take some time. Fitz had an admirable day today. It wasn't a great day, but he hung in there as long as he could. He made the mistake to Ezell. Skipper last night really threw okay. Auburn had some chances to win and did not.
Down the line, and 2 runs are going to end up scoring for Arkansas. It's 8-0 on an 0-2 pitch. A 2-run single by Nesbitt.
That's why Coach Van Horn was ready to get the runners moving and steal, because he knows this is their chance right here to put this game out of reach. There's the 2-seam, and he misses the end. He was trying to go down. He missed middle end into right-handed hitters with aluminum bats. It's a bad place to miss.
Here's Casey Opitz, the catcher. 3 more runs home in the inning. 8-0 Arkansas on top.
So it looks like this league probably going to boil down maybe to 4 teams in the West. Arkansas, LSU, Mississippi State, Texas A&M might have the best pitching in the conference.
And that's where Auburn goes next.
This Arkansas team, they do, and you're right, next week life gets easier, right?
Sure.
This Arkansas team is going to hang with all of them. They're going to be in the thick of it. I don't want to leave Ole Miss out. They beat this Arkansas team back-to-back Saturday and Sunday last weekend. But this team right here, With what I've seen from them, they'll be in the thick of things as the season progresses.
Into center, Howell comes in. Goes to a knee to make the catch. Ole Miss getting ready to play Florida after winning yesterday. And won the first game of a double, or leading in the first game of a doubleheader today, 16-4.
Florida?
Yes. No. Ole Miss is leading Florida.
That Florida team's having their issues. They've lost a lot of guys, playing a lot of young guys, and they are really taking their licks here early. Came in at 4-5 on the weekend.
Runner goes. Throw to second. He's safe. And they are running at will right now.
Yeah, with Matt Scheffler not being in there, Chase Hall just not the arm strength that Scheffler has. And you got a freshman on the mound who's slow to the plate. So it's a combination of him being slow and Chase not throwing quite as well as Scheffler does.
Fifth stolen base for Nesbitt. Third stolen base in the inning for Arkansas. Franklin at the plate with 2 down. Base hit into right. They'll try to score him. Here comes the throw to the plate. And he is out at the plate. Good throw by Williams. Good tag by Hall. Inning comes to a close. 3 more home, though, for Arkansas. Razorbacks take an 8-0 lead. 8-0 Arkansas, the rubber game of the series. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Auburn's schedule does not get any easier. Finishing up with Arkansas today. Then you go to number 10, Texas A&M. Georgia Tech is number 23. That's a midweek game. You have Ole Miss at home and Vanderbilt, number 1 in the country in the RPI right now in Nashville.
And right there to the right of that billboard we had up, you see the 2 reasons why Auburn is kind of limping on the mound. Davis Daniel and Jack Owen. We've got the name of the conference back in the game again. Andy with Zebulon Vermillion come in. We saw him yesterday. Big, strong guy with a good powerful arm and a good chance for him to pitch. He hasn't thrown a lot of strikes. His numbers are not great. Here's a chance for him to get 6 outs against this, maybe 9 outs against this Auburn team and get some work.
Davis Daniel right in the middle of that picture has been out since the 3rd inning of his very first start, which was opening day.
4 innings, maybe 3 innings, opening day. And
yep.
The elbow has not been good since.
He has started to throw, we understand, but that's about the extent we know of his rehab at this point. Ryan Bliss leads it off against Vermillion for strike 1.
And Andy, there are some teams in this league that could afford to lose 2 stars because of the depth. Auburn is not one of those teams.
A ball and a strike to Bliss. Went 3 for 8 in the doubleheader yesterday with 5 runs batted in. He's 0 for 2 today.
And what I mean by that, there are some limits here at Auburn. It's nothing to complain and whine about, but it's just true.
Right back to Zebulon. And Vermillion throws him out, 1 out.
There are teams in this conference that have more. They have more resources. They have more lottery money. They have more in-state talent. Auburn, Alabama, not those teams that have those 3 things. And Auburn's a team that has to recruit small, recruit smart and small, and develop. So when you lose 2 guys, 2 quality starters like they have, it's difficult. But nothing Coach Thompson can do, and he knows it, but move forward and keep pushing. And he'll do that today. If Auburn does not come back from this 8-0 deficit, it'll be a positive, tough, keep moving mentality from him at the next practice, team meeting, whatever he chooses to do.
Zebulon Vermillion, the new pitcher for Arkansas. We saw him yesterday. Big kid, 6'4", 185.
And throws some serious heat. Downhill, right over the top with a 4-seam fastball. Works quick. He's built about like Isaiah Campbell, just big. 6'5", 230, maybe 6'6".
Hall pops it up left side. This will get out of play.
He's about 6'6", but his legs are about 7'1". He's a long-legged, tall guy, downhill action, wearing an appropriate number for the best name in the league, number 88.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Again pops it up. Nesbitt gives chase, but that'll get out of play as well.
Look out. Didn't see a great breaking ball yesterday. out of Vermillion. It was just a power fastball, so Auburn hitters, they can sit fastball and kind of eliminate the breaking ball.
Hall to right. Kierstead on, and that falls for a hit. It's a base hit for Chase Hall. Just Auburn's 4th hit of the day. And it brings the top of the order and Judd Ward to the plate. This game was started promisingly for Auburn. A leadoff single for Hall. He was sacrificed to second, but then ground outs sandwiched a walk. And Auburn's still looking for its first base hit with a runner on base today. Ball high to Judd Ward. Julian 2 for 2. He's the only one with multiple hits today and the only one with an extra base hit. 2 balls and no strikes as that one misses upstairs to Judd Ward.
Excuse me, you have to never let it set into your mind the ball game is over. I mean, you can't assume if you're Auburn, you got 8 more outs. You got 3 innings to play with here, and if you're Auburn, you just got to feel like we can come back. We just got to keep trying to push forward and think you can come back.
3 balls and no strikes.
Arkansas's bullpen is down. They threw a bunch of guys, so it's not like you're having to face their top guys, even though Vermillion is very good. Can never enter your mind that we're done until the last pitch is made. What's that lady called?
That one gets away as it's ball 4 anyway. So Hall to second and Ward to first.
Aluminum bats, get a couple of walks, a couple of hits. One guy pops one out. Get some feel-good momentum, and you still have 3 more at bats.
We're in the bottom of the 7th. 2 in the 3rd. 3 more in the 5th and 3 in the 7th for Arkansas. The scoring today for the Razorbacks.
And don't think Dave Van Horn in his 25 years plus of being a head coach in Nebraska and Arkansas hasn't seen it before. Some of his team might be relaxed, but I promise you, inside of his soul right now, there's no relaxing and assuming we've got this one in the bag if you're Arkansas. He has seen it before.
Auburn will play Jacksonville State at home and then go to Texas A&M this weekend. Arkansas with Oral Roberts at home, and then, oh, by the way, #1 Vanderbilt this coming weekend.
Is that at home?
No, that is in Nashville. So both of these teams are on the road this coming weekend.
That will be a series. Vanderbilt is very good on the mound. Arkansas very good with the bats.
Arkansas will have back-to-back home weekends in the league with Mississippi State and Tennessee coming up before going to Kentucky at home against LSU and at A&M to end the regular season. Out of play right side, 1-1. There you look at the schedule coming up for Arkansas. Oral Roberts, Vanderbilt, Pine Bluff, then home against Mississippi State and Northwestern State.
If you're coaching this league,
snap throw to first and he's out.
Yeah, it's bad baseball by Judd Ward. You get back pick when you're going nowhere. Great job by Opitz. He's done it all weekend long, and that's a major mistake there with Auburn having a little bit of momentum, and then to get back pick when you're going nowhere. Look how far off the bag he was. That's just a mental lapse by Judd Ward.
Throw in and 2 outs in the inning, and it's been that kind of day for Auburn.
Good baseball though by Opitz. He and Ezel saw something, and they put the play on. That's a called glove wiggle or something to let Ezel know, hey, I'm coming to you. And they'd seen Judd Ward probably get out there 1 pitch before, and boy, they got him.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Howell. To the shortstop, Martin. In time to first, and Auburn's scoreless through 7, 8-0.
Young.
8-0 Arkansas. The Razorbacks to the plate in the top half of the 8th. It will be the top of the order. Ezel, Kierstead, and Martin. Ezel with one of the big blows of the day back in the 5th inning. A 3-run home run over the center field wall.
It's called lift and separate, Andy, and he did just that.
Arkansas scored 3 in the 5th to go up 5-0. Added 3 more in the 7th. Auburn with a defensive replacement after Judd Ward was picked off at first. Jared Eaton goes in to play left field for the Tigers.
I would think that the Auburn Nation is beginning to turn their eyes towards Minneapolis, just over an hour away from tip-off of the Final Four. And
doors are open next door at the arena for the watch party.
an exciting day for Auburn basketball, Bruce Pearl, his team, and the Auburn fans.
A ball and no strikes now to Ezel. 2 balls and no strikes.
I really believe with my eyes this guy's going to be a very good pitcher for Auburn. He's going to have a setup closer type role as he gets down the road, and I think he'll throw harder and get stronger and be really good. That arm works good. It's a quick arm. It's great life. 87. Like the other 5 freshmen, they are all taking their licks. They're bruised and battered, and they're going to have to grow up quickly.
Strike call, 3-1. Ezel, Kerstead, and Martin. There's strike 2.
And Andy, we don't know for sure, but we're both assuming that Judd Ward was taken out of the game. Coach Thompson has not quit coaching. That was a mental lapse there. Auburn had a little positive flow, and Judd Ward just a mental lapse, and he's out of the game, and Jared Eaton is in.
Up the middle to Bliss with the backhand.
Look at that guy run.
In time for first.
It's a first baseman. Man, oh man.
1 down, and here's Heston Kierstead.
I mean, I wish I had my stopwatch on him. I'm not doing my job. I'm supposed to have stopwatching these guys.
We're going to take you out of the game.
Please do.
Yeah.
Bench me.
Here's Kierstead.
Our bench is kind of thin.
I think Greg's around here somewhere.
Easy.
0-1.
Anybody be better. Good slider. Will Morrison, because of the situation, is being given the chance to stay out there by Steve Smith and try to settle in. And you can see the confidence in his rhythm. He's working quick, making pitches.
2 balls and a strike to Heston Kierstead. He put Arkansas on the board with a 2-run single in the 3rd. Has hit home runs in the first 2 games of the series. And that's ball 3.
Will Morrison is from Coleman, also the high school of Keegan Thompson, who started his season in AA, maybe AAA. What I read? AA, I guess. Trying to make his way to the big leagues.
Kierstead, nicely played by Bliss.
What a play.
Woolley has to tag, and Kierstead going by, 2 down.
What a play. What a baseball player. What a play by Ryan Bliss.
They've had a little more time to throw out the runner at first. He got rid of it in a hurry, and it sailed on him, and then Woolley tagged Kierstead going by, 2 down.
Great play. They'll shift over here now with Martin being more of a pull hitter. I believe somewhere along the way, Will Morrison was committed to Mississippi State. I don't know what happened. I don't know why he changed, but Auburn glad to have him and glad to see him. We will look forward to seeing him develop as a pitcher.
A ball and no strikes to Martin. 2 balls and no strikes. 8-0 Arkansas on top. We're in the top of the 8th. Into left.
It's a good inning.
Holland is out. Eaton is in. Eaton takes it and makes the play. 3 up, 3 down for Arkansas in the 8th. That's been a rarity today. Razorbacks on top, 8-0. We go to the bottom half of the 8th. Arkansas, 8 runs on 9 hits, 0-4 for Auburn. It's been airless baseball for both teams today. Rankin Woolley leads it off against Zebulon Vermillion, and the first pitch floats in for strike 1. Woolley 1 for 14 in the series and 0 for 3 today. A ball and a strike. Julian and Davis to follow in the Auburn 8th inning. Off the right side. This should get out of play. Yep. Two ball or a ball and 2 strikes.
Excuse me, and he's seen Rankin Waller do that a lot. The bat has just, it's like there's doubt. He's delaying the bat. He's dragging the bat through. He just hasn't been that aggressive. And, you know, he really has not hit I don't believe in the word slump. He hadn't hit a tough sled. And now he's got some tough sledding here recently.
And he's down on strikes.
And he is. You mentioned it, 1 for 15 on the weekend. It's tough. It's his first time go-around. Led the nation in hitting last year in junior college. Probably didn't struggle at all. So this is everybody in that Auburn dugout right now is dealing with something that they're going to have to overcome and work through.
Julian, the only one in the Auburn lineup today with more than 1 hit. He's 2 for 2 with a walk.
Good news for Auburn. It's early. It's the 4th series of the year. The bad news is the schedule is brutal.
It sure is.
It's a brutal schedule. And when you're limping and you have to continue to play the teams that are this good each weekend, things can get out of hand in a hurry. I think Texas A&M, from what I understand and read about, their pitching is the best in the conference. And it should be. The state of Texas is known as the pitching state in the country.
A ball and 2 strikes to Julian. Folks at Vanderbilt may disagree with the
Well, that's a good
best
point.
pitching.
Forget about them. They had a couple of first-rounders that did not sign and came to school.
1-2. 2-2 the count. Guy with an Auburn connection is one of those at Vanderbilt. Kumar Rocker.
No question.
Throwing upper 90s.
Yep. No question.
Tracy Rocker's son.
Big-time talent out of Athens, Georgia.
Ball 3. He turned down pretty good major league money to go to Vanderbilt.
No question.
We see that a lot now with Vandy.
Yeah, really all the way across the conference. He was
Yeah.
a first-round pick pitching from Mississippi State. State had another first-round pick out of my high school in Florida who did not sign. The physical showed a broken bone in his hand. The Braves dropped the first-round signing bonus money. He said, I'm going to college, but I think he went to a junior college. So they potentially could have had 2 high school first-round picks on their staff this year. Florida routinely has a guy go in the first, second round who shows up to college. The lefty for Georgia Tech the other night was a second-round draft pick. So more and more kids foregoing college or professional baseball to come and play college baseball.
Nice play on a weird hop. Ezel with to the bag, 2 down.
And the SEC has done such a good job. I mean, gosh, the stadiums. Everybody now has a $45 million stadium. Mississippi State holds 12,000. Just put money into. Alabama spent $45 million. South Carolina spent $52 million. So they've made themselves marketable. So when you're a high draft pick,
Florida's about to build a brand new
Florida's
stadium.
going to do it. Yeah, Auburn has a picture. Coach Thompson has a vision here. Although this stadium is beautiful. So they've made themselves marketable to those kids, and they can tell the kids, look, come get your education, pitch in this league, play in these stadiums in front of these crowds, and then walk out of here a millionaire in 3 years.
Connor Davis fouls it off. No runs on 4 hits this afternoon for Auburn. The Tigers are stranded 8.
It's the hardest recruiting gig in college sports because no other sport has to deal with the draft. You fight against your opponents to get recruits. Then you got to fight pro baseball, and you can't fight against pro baseball. They have all summer long. They have unlimited money. So Coach Thompson and his staff, Coach Nunemaker, you spend so much time working and getting guys, and then you got to hold your breath all summer long. Every coach in these college dugouts, they're in the same boat, trying to hold on to the guys you spent so much time signing.
No balls and 2 strikes to Connor Davis. Ball and 2 strikes. Connor 5 for 9 yesterday in the doubleheader, but 0 for 3 today. It's been a struggle offensively all day long for the Tigers. Just 4 base hits and no hits with runners on base. And Davis goes down on strikes. We go to the 9th. Arkansas 8, Auburn nothing. The Razorbacks 3 outs away from winning the series. We go to the 9th. Arkansas in control, leading 8-0. 8 runs on 9 hits, no errors for Arkansas. 0-4 and a 0 for Auburn. So not only has Auburn struggled mightily offensively today, but 9 runs, 8 hits, 9 walks on the day for Auburn pitching, and just 2 strikeouts. Dominic Fletcher leads it off. Fouls off the first pitch out of play. Will Morrison in his third inning of duty. That ball is driven into center, but there is Kason Howell for the first out.
Two really, really well. A great weekend by Fletcher, but the last two at-bats have been impressive the way he has turned the bat loose and smoked the ball. Had a double last at-bat and just a rocket at the center fielder, Kason Howell there.
Here's Matt Goodhart, the DH. 6 for 13 this weekend. Pops up the first pitch out of play.
Andy, every team in a season is going to have a lull. Every team. I don't care from Vanderbilt all the way down. It's how you handle that tough stretch where things are just not clicking very well that's going to define your season.
Strike two.
Pitch. Really good sinker. Auburn's got to keep its eyes set on 15. 15 wins. And with the RPI, really 14 wins might get you into a regional somewhere. Hey, with a team this young and with the pitching, the pitchers being hurt, to get into a regional, to make it to postseason would be quite a feat for this Auburn team. Bunch of new players and injuries to two starting pitchers is really hurting them drastically. That's a good pitch, drastically.
2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 down. We're in the top of the 9th. Arkansas up 8-0. To the second baseman, Bliss.
Really good inning.
2 outs.
2 outs. Excuse me. Got to give him 3.
Take a look at all the Auburn or the SEC teams in the top 35 of the RPI. And
that is the reason. Excuse me.
Auburn has a lot of those teams left on the schedule.
Right. And that is the reason why Auburn's got to keep its eyes fixed on the 14 to 15 win range right there because of those numbers. They'll play Georgia Tech, have Jacksonville State twice.
There's Jack Kenley with 2 down. Strike call in the inside corner. I'll tell you what, there's been a couple encouraging pitching performances by Auburn from guys that Carson Skipper, I think, was encouraging yesterday. Will Morrison today, for the most part. Things at least you can build on with these guys moving forward.
Well, and except for the 3-run home run, so was Fitz. Fitz was in control. He threw strikes, and then he got in trouble. And like the SEC does, Ezel made him pay.
Swing and a miss.
There's that backdoor slider. And that's what's so neat about Will Morrison is he's doing what Calvin Coker did as a senior. Will Morrison is making that pitch right there, that backdoor slider. He's throwing it for strikes as a freshman.
1-2 pitch. A little bit low. That had the plate. 2-2.
Why call it a strike?
Two. Missed it low. 3-2.
I heard a coach one time. He wouldn't directly say anything to the umpire, but when a ball was thrown close, he said, "Hey, the way to throw a strike." So he was getting his message across, and it was really funny because the fans were kind of feeding on it, and then everybody started yelling on every close pitch. "Hey, way to throw a strike." Umpire didn't budge. He kept right on calling them balls.
Three balls and 2 strikes to Kenley.
I think if you ask Coach Thompson, Andy, he would say his offense hasn't really been clicking all year. This is not a team that's just gone cold offensively.
Into right, and that's going to get down for extra bases for Goodhart. It's another base hit for the DH for the Razorbacks. Boy, he had been on fire this weekend.
They sure have.
Excuse me, that was Kenley.
That was Kenley, yep. They hit doubles. They've hit timely home runs. They battled with 2 strikes. Here you'll see a fastball in the middle. It didn't sink. And Kenley with a really good job of getting the foot down and turning on it.
Kenley's first base hit of the day has been on 3 straight times now. A couple walks as well. And here's Jacob Nesbitt. Eight nothing Arkansas with a runner at second and 2 down in the 9th. And a strike.
Good slider, first pitch. Just kind of go down the list of what it takes to be a championship team. Number 1, you got to pitch. Arkansas does that. Check it off. Number 2, you got to play defense. They do that. Number 3, you got to hit and hit for power. And they do that. You got to be able to run. They're pretty quick. Play defense. They do that. So you can do that probably with LSU and Mississippi State right in the line. This team fits the checklist of what it takes to get back to Omaha. I'm sure that Still stings to be that close on a ball that I'm sure they feel like they should have caught and beaten Oregon State, and Oregon State went on to win it all. They have potentially the team to get back there again.
0-2 to Nesbitt.
For that good sweeping slider, it's a frisbee here from Will Morris. If he goes to it again, down the way. Sinker, and a good one. Start the sinker away from the right-handed hitter, run it back over the corner, and try to get the called strike.
A ball and 2 strikes to Nesbitt. Morrison just trying to get it to the bottom of the 9th. And he does on the strikeout. No runs on a hit, no errors, a man left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Auburn trails 8-0. To the bottom of the 9th, and Auburn will send up a couple pinch hitters here in the 9th. Devin Warner will pinch hit for Stephen Williams.
Devin Warner is a guy they are high on. He came in a highly recruited kid out of Cartersville, Georgia. Tremendous power, just hasn't quite found his spot yet of where he can play. Probably going to end up being a corner outfielder, but a big, strong kid with some power, getting a chance to swing the bat here.
0 for 3 in his Auburn career. Talked with Gabe Rose before the season began. He said, we got a guy that the ball just sounds different coming off of his bat at batting practice. And this is the guy.
He will go to Charlottesville, Virginia for summer ball, and that will be tremendous for him. He won't get many at-bats, more likely this spring, but he'll go up to Virginia. He'll settle in at a position, whether he's at first or third or in the corner outfield position, and he will get 100 to 150 at-bats, and that'll be tremendous for him, and then come back next fall and look forward to earning a position on the field.
Turned on that one, didn't he?
He sure did. Lots of time. He and Gabe Gross have spent a great deal of time together in that batting cage. I would hate to guess how many hours on trying to develop and kind of retrain the swing a little bit.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Auburn has been shut out just once this season. It was a week ago today in the middle game of the series at South Carolina. Arkansas trying to do it for the second time in a week. Just a bit upstairs. 3-2 to Warner.
You pull for these guys. Ed Johnson going to get it at bat. These guys are putting in the same amount of time that the starting guys are putting in, not getting the at bats. It's a difficult situation.
Strike 3 call.
Especially when you've played every single play as a high school sophomore, junior, senior. Then you get to Auburn and the brakes get put on. And you have to sit and wait. But it's a good waiting. It's an opportunity to grow, mature, and try to work your way into the lineup. Ed Johnson getting a chance here as well. He's a shortstop. Middle infielder, plays him first. He was on the Hewitt-Trussville team with Carson Skipper that won the state championship 3 years ago, and then last year they lost to Auburn High School. So from a very successful program there in Birmingham at Hewitt-Trussville.
Out of play up the right side. A ball and a strike to Johnson. Johnson 0 for 4 in his Auburn career. Another pinch hitter on deck for Auburn and Brody Moore. That's low. 2-1.
And you pull for Ed Johnson to get a hit and get on, and for Brody Moore to get a chance to go up there and swing the bat as well.
And there is a base hit. The first in college for Ed Johnson.
Very good. Good for him. Very good. His parents are here, and great for him to step up there and do that. Despite the situation, it's exciting for him.
And that will bring Brody Moore to the plate.
He's batting 1,000. Brody Moore really should take the intentional walk. He had a triple in his first and only at bat.
Yes.
And scored a run.
Son of Brandon Moore, former Auburn shortstop.
Yeah, Brandon Moore, very similar. Casey Martin out there for Arkansas, very similar to the kind of player that Brandon Moore was. Brandon played about 10 years in the minor leagues, now a head baseball coach here in the North Alabama area. But Brandon Moore was a dynamic player for Auburn at short for 4 years, then went on to a long professional career. Brody Moore, his son.
Out of play. He was actually warming up in the Auburn bullpen, just in case.
Tells you where things are a little bit for this Auburn pitching staff, but Fortunately, Will Morrison did a good job and kept the position players at bay. They always want to be pitchers, and they swear that they were really good pitchers at one time. They probably were. Kind of like pitchers thinking they can hit.
Out of play, Moore stays alive. Moore batting in the 8th spot for Ryan Bliss.
Good at bat. Promise you that now. He's been trained by his dad his whole life. He knows how to two-strike hit. Brandon Moore was one of the top 15 hitters. He doesn't have the name of obviously of Frank Thomas, but he was a guy that was right up there with the Jay Wagners and the guys that could really hit that came through this Auburn program for Hal Baird.
Stays alive. He was just one of those guys that was not a 5-star prospect coming out of high school that developed into an outstanding player at Auburn.
Yep. Blue collar, hard-nosed.
Just a prototypical recruit under Hal Baird.
Kind of like you see on Bruce Pearl's basketball team, just guys that the process. Look at him. It's a huge at-bat for him. You know, you want to get out there and play no matter what the situation is, and here's Brody Moore battling with 2 strikes.
We'll see him taking ground balls at short and at third base before the ball games begin.
He seems to fit the corner position a little better.
And another foul out of play.
Good for him. He seems to fit his body type, the way he moves, really looks natural at third base. I have no idea where he'll end up in his career here at Auburn, but that looks like where he may fit in. Possibly second base. The problem there is you got a pretty good freshman that I don't think is going anywhere in Ryan Bliss at second base.
Unless Bliss moves to short at some point.
And if you can hit, you'll play.
Yeah,
Coach will
right.
find a place to put you. The bat will play.
Up the middle, could be 2. To end the game and the series, he's out. And the series comes to a close, and Arkansas wins convincingly in the final game of the series today.
Well, Andy, it's big for Arkansas. It puts them in the first place position now in the SEC West. Auburn has to continue to grind. They've got to hopefully get a pitcher back in the starting rotation and just keep grinding with another tough weekend coming with Texas A&M Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week.
Convincing win for Arkansas to win the game and win the series. 8-0 the final score today. For Mark Fuller, I'm Andy Burcham saying so long from Auburn. Again, the final, Arkansas 8, Auburn 0. Be sure to tune on to the SEC